morning, guys. Allie here to give you an update on all the big wins from this past week by our great Runpure Sports hosts and members. Our guy Uncle Dunkle led the charge with over 40K in NFL winnings for Week 16. Huge congrats to longtime RPS member D-Rock for his 24K NBA hit on Christmas. The Lil Jordan Humphrey love was strong in the Discord on Monday and led to some huge wins on the Showdown slate. Surprise, surprise, BigT had another big night, pulling in over 100K across sites on the Dolphins Saints Showdown slate. This was just a few days after shipping another 150K in NBA. BigT wasn't the only one repping Runpure Sports with a big hit. Shout out to Quick on to Cribs, who also took down 24K on Monday's NFL Showdown slate. Meanwhile, Tway Rich hit for over 35K across sites, and Joseph Swartz shipped 215K on DraftKings. The wins just keep piling up in the RPS universe, which could only mean one thing. There is no better time to join than right now. We've recently teamed with Sabre Sim to offer a great deal on a combo subscription where you can access all of our content and their great optimizer and projection system for one low price. Head on over to runpuresports.com to get the deal now and start running pure with us.
What's up, everyone? Tyler Tamboline here, aka ToeTagginTambo, back for another edition, week 17 of the Off the Chalk show here at Runpure Sports. We're back, new year, same us. Got a special guest today. Gonna introduce my main man Title in a second. I'm excited to finally be on a show with him. Got AP back in the booth as always, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, ready to go. Appreciate all you guys being with us. We're back for a new year. Definitely excited. And I got to thinking this morning, I'll bring the boys in here in a second, but I was do my best work in the shower. I always come up with these one-liners and thinking about it. I know it's January. People are out getting their gym memberships, but I got no clue why you'd be doing that, because the gym is, you've got to go pay your money. People are done with it by February. You're not doing nothing with your gym membership. Get a Runpure Sports membership. Get a membership for us. We got coordinators. We've got people coaching you. It's just like personal trainers. We encourage eating, 2-a-days, 3-a-days. You can play college football, NBA, NFL. You can get in on all the sports. We're there supporting you all throughout your year, and we don't care if you get fat. And I'm not talking about your body, talking about your bank account. We like to get fat here at Runpure Sports. Let's do it. Sign up if you guys haven't. Hit that like button on the way in. I'm pumped for 2022, and I'm pumped to finally be on a show with my guy, Title Town. So, Title, what's going on, my man? How are you? We're finally here.
You got me excited this morning, Tambo. 7:45 a.m. over here. It's very rare for Title, but very excited to do a show with you. I might have to steal that line too. You absolutely crush hosting. I do the hardwood shows. I might need to steal that once in a while. Hopefully not every member's tuned in yet, so I can use that. But really good slate. We get 2 weeks left. I mean, one more week in the regular season this year, which always will be fun. But a lot of people are going to sit out like usual. We finally get pretty much a full week in week 17. So I'm excited. A lot of different ways to go. And a big thing in December football is weather. So we'll talk about some weather throughout the NFL. That's something I always look at. And excited to pick some winners. I think it's a pretty good slate. Prize pool is always good. Excited to dive in.
Love my man Title. Already talking about weather. I'll bring you in a sec, AP. It sounds like dew points and green types. We might need to get him on a PGA show over there, ready to talk about their Bermuda thistles on the greens. But AP, my man, I'm happy to be here with you. 2022 going to be an absolutely huge year for RPS. 2021 was incredible. You could talk about that a little bit. And then how are you doing this fine Sunday morning, my man?
Doing well. What an intro. But Tambo, you forgot one thing. Instead of bench press recommendations here, it's all about the workbench. We're getting workbench recommendations daily. Big T's workbench play. That was excellent, my man. Hey, we got golf coming back here real soon. I'm getting pumped for the next season. I mean, my boy JT is looking extra crisp. I mean, he looked phenomenal carrying his dad. His dad could barely, could barely walk or bend over to pick up his ball, but JT was looking phenomenal. I always love to see that, but it's a football show. We won't talk golf, even though I'm excited for the season to get here, but yeah, excited to break the slate down with you guys.
Yeah, it's going to be good. JT bones on the bag as well. So I actually predicted him for the moneymaker of the year. It's not the best bet. I think it was 8-1 or something, but definitely good. Golf is back this week. We got everything here for you. Again, when you sign up for that membership. It won't be one that you want to get rid of come February. As I mentioned with the gym memberships, it'll be one you want to stick with. The Discord is full of like-minded individuals, just like at the gym, that all want to get in shape and get that healthy bank account. So stick with us. Let's do it. Hit the like button, guys. We're going for 300 likes today. It's New Year's mojo. Got to get 300 likes. Of course, we've got Holden back, coming back off a little bit of a break. He's got his guys Hoop and Big T, of course, on the next show free as well, the Morning Wood. But let's get into it. Title, you mentioned it's a big slate, 14 games. There was no Thursday night football. There was no Saturday football this week, only Sunday. And so that brings a lot of games. But what's surprising to me, I don't know if this is the elephant in the room really, but for some reason, everyone's on all the same plays. That's why we do this show. We've got off the chalk. There's 28 teams that you can pick from, but someone's telling me there's only 3 running backs that I can play. So we're going to get to the bottom of that when we move on to running back. But let's start at quarterback. We do have to have a discussion here as well. Of course, there's a $4,800 one Trey Lance for San Francisco that we're going to talk about. I think in cash games can definitely make a lot of sense. And that's good too for those tuning in for the first time or hearing Title talk NFL for the first time. We're here every week doing the show, and that's probably why you guys are here. But Title plays a lot of cash, high stakes, things like that. He can get in and talk some of this as well and help you guys out there. So Trey Lance, then it looks like it funnels from there. Title, you got Josh Allen, Dak Prescott, a little bit of Herbert with the ability to play Steven Anderson and situational stuff like that. So what are you doing here with this chalk at the quarterback position?
Yeah, so I think the 2 main guys are Dak at 6'7", Trey Lance at 4'8". I think you're the cash game quarterbacks. Josh Allen on FanDuel make a little sense with how the pricing is. Don't think you need to do it on DraftKings because there just isn't too much of a difference from Allen and Dak. 1,300 goes a long way. Don't need it on this slate. I love Trey Lance at 4'8". I love Trey Lance as a quarterback. If you listen to the Bet Show with Spread, I do it every Monday. I think he's good. I think his rushing upside, he has an arm, and then he has Kittle. He has Debo. So you throw a screen pass to Debo, he can take it 75 yards to the box and he'll get you your points there. So he has weapons. He gets Houston, who's absolutely awful. The weather should be good. Everything's lining up for Trey Lance is a smash play. I really like him. I want to ask you two, because of course I play tournaments too. And I know you shipped the small field with Minshew naked. I'm a team stack personally almost all the time, but the criteria I have for not being able to stack or not forcing myself to stack, he has to be cheap. Checks the box. Trey Lance is cheap. He has to have rushing upside because you want a rushing touchdown. So then one of your receivers wouldn't catch it. He has both of those too. So personally, I think in the smaller stuff, absolutely you can run Trey Lance naked. I think in the larger field stuff, you kind of can too, because he has upside. You can get the studs. Interested to hear what you two say about that though, but absolutely love Trey Lance. Is going to be popular though. Obviously quarterbacks, they're not always going to be really high owned, like running backs, wide receivers. Quarterbacks are always coming lower on 20% chalk, stuff like that. Dak, I'm not really going to go Dak too much in tournaments as I expect the ownership to be there. If I'm going to play a chalky quarterback, I think Trey Lance is the one for me. Looking outside a couple other guys though, I think Herbert at 6'8" is a very good pivot right from Dak Prescott, $100 cheaper or $100 more expensive. I'm a Herbert guy, and it's very easy to stack Justin Herbert. He has weapons. You know he's going to get the ball to. I think Herbert makes a lot of sense in tournaments, someone I'm looking at. The last guy I'll mention, I think Taysom Hill, Big T's boy at 6K against Carolina is pretty interesting this week. Talking about rushing upside, he has slate breaking upside as we saw Thursday night a couple weeks ago when he put up 27. I think he's very interesting too, but then you come in and who are you going to stack him with? Blah, blah, blah. It gets very interesting there. So I play a lot of like 1,000 people less tournaments when I do it. Personally, right now, I'm going to the Trey Lance route is what I think. I'm curious to hear what you guys think about that. Is that a donkey move? Ownership too high? And then talk about what your thoughts are. Do you need to pair him with someone? Because Kittle's expensive. Debo's expensive. There's other guys that are in better spots personally where I don't think you need to, but I'm excited to hear what you say about that.
Yeah, and I'll flip it to you in a sec, AP. Just final thoughts on that real quick from my end, at least. When you talk about a guy like Trey Lance, or even going back to the Minshew situation the week he faced the Jets, don't forget Dallas Goedert had himself almost, I believe, a career day in that spot, and most people didn't stack it up. It wasn't that you absolutely had to have it, but you wanted it for optimals, for things like that. It was definitely out there. You could have had it. So got to keep that in mind. It's worth the risk in some cases, especially in larger fields, to stack it up. The other way you can go about it is a little bit sneakier, I think, is if you just run him with someone from the Houston side. I know that David Johnson's out. You could run with Burkhead. You could run with and getting checkdowns and stacking up points that way. You could run with Brandon Cooks, who's usually a guy that can go off. And if one of them essentially broke the slate or became optimal, it would be much higher likelihood that Trey Lance was a part of that happening, meaning his team was involved to keep the game close enough or to keep that back and forth rolling. So I think that's definitely a way you can go about it. I like that better in higher dollar, smaller field, or just smaller field in general. It doesn't always have to be higher dollar. I just think it's a bit of a sharper play to go that way. And then I love the Herbert call. We'll get to Herbert more as we go throughout. I think he makes a lot of sense with some of the pairing options. And again, I talk about this all the time. I have a harder time with guys like Dak and Kyler, even though they're in the afternoon and they have a crazy total versus what the rest of the slate. That's the other thing about this slate. There's 14 games, but not many of them have high totals. So I think that's where people are struggling a little bit or scared to go outside the box with some of their plays because it doesn't quite fit the criteria they're used to be able to play in these high total spots. With Dak and with Kyler, we talked about this plenty over at Runpure Sports on the weekly review show with JSU, K Fallick, and myself, where it's harder to stack these guys up. So if you're the lucky person to punch the Dak with the right two receivers and the right run back ticket, then that's awesome, but it still might not get you there because what if you got running back or tight end or something else wrong within that stack? You got to have a lot of conviction, and I'd be going there with a lot of your lineups. So if you're in a 20 max, I'd be getting after it with 10 to 12 or something of your lineups, whether Dak or Kyler, because you have to try and really pick up the pieces in that game to have even a couple that might be able to give you a sweat. But AP, I'll throw it over to you. Give us your thoughts on Trey Lance, because definitely the highest owned quarterback at just 4,800, the spot that he's in, all the things Title said to go with it. And then of course the other guys there at the top before we go off the chalk.
Yeah, we were talking about it last night on the Millie show. One thing I'm going to do, because I definitely have Trey Lance in my player pool. I'm running him naked, but I'm forcing a run back, and the run back I want is Brandon Cooks. The guy's just been a beast. His price tag is fair, arguably underpriced. And Mills he's been viable. Like, he's been able to find him, and he's kind of fighting for his job too. So if I'm playing a Trey Lance build, you're going to see Brandon Cooks in my lineup. That's how I'm going to run it. But I'll be honest, guys, I'm trying to get, I think he's going to be popular 4,800. We've seen what he can do. He gets a very good matchup. I think he's just going to be a very popular quarterback. So in tournaments, I do want to get a little bit different. The next guy, I think you said Josh Allen. I think it looks like he's getting some ownership. So, I mean, all right, guys, like we know where I'm going this week. They're like, if you're a listener to the show, no one is surprised. We got the Chiefs against the Bengals, Mahomes on the road. I know people are like, oh, AP, Chiefs donkey. I get it. I'll admit I'm definitely a homer, but Mahomes on the road versus Mahomes at home, two different animals. I mean, just go and look at it. Baltimore 25, Chargers 31, the Raiders 36, and I'm talking DraftKings points. Philly 33. He had one game where he was an absolute bust, and that was against the Titans for 9 DK points. But every other game, I'm thinking 25 or more DraftKings points. And then at home, it's like a different story. It's like he's averaging right around 19, 20, where he's averaging almost 30 on the road. So, and then we get a matchup where I do think the Bengals are going to be able to keep pace. And that's what we need here for this stack to work. But as we were talking before the show, Tambo, I do think it's a absolute smash spot for Mahomes. His weapons are healthy, a little thanks to COVID protocols. Travis Kelce missed last week, and the game got out of hand. They did not need to force Tyreek Hill in there. Like, he was honestly, like, I don't have snap counts or anything like that, but like, I was watching the game and I'm like, where is this dude? Like, they did not need to play him. They're playing Pringle. They were playing Robinson, Hardman, Gordon. Like, it was almost like Tyreek Hill had the week off. So I think this team's going to be very healthy, very motivated, very good to go. I think we need the Bengals to keep a little bit of pace here, but I think it's an absolute smash spot. I think the Chiefs get what would be 9 wins in a row on the heels of a big game from Mahomes. So he's my top-rated quarterback on the week. The other thing I'm doing too is, so I like another cheap quarterback, and we'll kind of get into those, but Tyler Huntley. So like, it's really interesting. But for me, clearly at the top, it's going to be Mahomes in this early window. And I'm going to have high exposure to that game stack. And one last note I want to make, and I want to see if you guys agree with this, since this is an off the chalk show. I think this game is one of the best to stack up, but I think from a true stacking perspective, they're going to be like lower owned stacks is what I'm seeing. And that's a function of there's so many other good standalone plays in these other games. Cooper Kupp, obviously, phenomenal play. Jonathan Taylor, these guys are expensive. They're going to soak up ownership, which is going to make a natural stack of a game of this really good game somewhat lower owned.
Yeah, and I love that call. I'm with you on the Mahomes. So you don't have to worry about the homer call this week, AP. Others are joining you on this bandwagon. I already saw it in the chat. A couple people mentioned, going the Burrow side. I hear that, but for me, I'm on the Mahomes side. I like it better. I think it's if you stack them up, we've got his weapons back now with Kelsey. You got Hill. Both of those guys there. When both of them are back, he usually sticks pretty close to his chest and uses those guys more often. So I think I'm going to do that. And then the other side of it, I think the forgotten man is sort of the way to flip it up. A couple ways that you can do this with this game. First off, going with Mixon. I think everybody wants to play Chase, or just Higgins had another big game. Chase is going to bounce back. That's not really what Kansas City gives up. And then they usually give it up to the run. Also, on the flip side, the other way, you've got Darrell Williams with no CEH. He is stackable with Mahomes. Mahomes even checks down to him with, 5-yard drop down. Get to the 5-yard line, they can kick it to him and take it in. That's 12 points plus to your guys just based on the touchdown value alone. So, and the PPR. So I think if you look at it from that perspective, that's another way you can go. And then lastly, this is, spoiler alert from what's coming, down the road at tight end. But CJ Uzoma is picking up some steam this week. I think he makes a lot of sense in cash games to fit things in. But at that same time, if you just flip your construction, you do it with a guy like Kelsey. That's kind of what Cincy wants to give up. They want to give you these 10, 12-yard passes, but then they can also get burned with yards after catch. So that's where a guy like Kelsey becomes so strong. He can get 10 for 100 just on catching the ball. But what about those 2 or 3 big runs he has, or if he takes it all the way in and just shoves the guy off and hops in the end zone a couple times? That can definitely happen as well. And we'll talk more about that. I want to talk about this and then I'll flip it to you, Title. But Huntley and Stafford, this game is one that I don't understand. If I'm looking at ownership projections, they're both way down the board. Stafford, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I might be crazy here, but isn't this the exact same matchup that we just saw Joe Burrow go for 504? And the week before that, we saw Adams go off with MVS and Aaron Rodgers, and that game go back and forth. Huntley looked plenty viable. We have to wait and see. I know all the Ravens conversation around Lamar Jackson didn't practice, but there's hope. There's not. If he didn't practice, it's unlikely. Huntley's there. Even if Lamar was in, I'm talking about stacking the other side more so myself anyway, so I'm okay with it. But I just think if you go back and look, I did this last night with a buddy. You go back and look at Mark Andrews at his price tag. It's expensive, but you look at what he's been doing. Doesn't matter the quarterback, what he's been doing, 30 plus points per game. Oh, but he's 7,400. Go do me a favor. There's a flex spot on DraftKings. Go look at the $7,000 wide receivers and tell me when any of them put up 30. It's like 1 for 40 or something, like 1 for 30 games between the 7K wide receivers on DraftKings, even on this 14-game slate. He's a wide receiver, man. It's what he does. So just get him in there. And that's what I'm saying. You can go flip the script completely. You can get off Cooper Kupp because we're going to talk about these expensive wide receivers at the highest ownership. And what I told you, if you guys are a member here, just never play it because even when they put up 40 and 50 like they need, it's not necessary that they're always on it. We've literally reviewed this weekly over at Runpure Sports. It just doesn't happen. So get Cooper Kupp in your cash game lineups. Get that floor ceiling combo you're looking for. In tournaments, I got no problem Xing him completely because at the end of the day, it's just not going to happen. If he gets 50, yeah, it could happen. But you're talking about he needs 50 first. What if the Ravens go back to running it and setting it up like they did on Devontae Adams because they're horrible right now and limit him just to 20 to 25? That's not going to do it at that price tag. I'd rather take a shot with Stafford, Odell, maybe Higbee, Andrews in the flex, or put Andrews in with Van Jefferson or OBJ. There's a lot of ways that you can do it with Stafford. I just have no clue why at 7,100 he's coming in so low. And it goes back, Title. I'll flip to you in 1 second here, but the Dallas, Arizona thing. Everyone's talking about, like you said, Dak at that ownership, 6,700, he can go off, but you have to pick between like 7 guys on who he can stack with. Like it's so much harder to stack up to get that right. So if you just go with Stafford, he uses the same guys. I'm already okay with moving off Kupp in larger field tournaments and going with 1 or 2 of Van Jefferson, OBJ, Higbee. Done. That's kind of one who I play. And by the way, when we get to running back, Sony Michel is like one of the biggest chalk plays of the week. So that's how you get your leverage. Talk to me, Title, though. Other plays some of the stuff I just talked about, and then anybody else you want to talk about at the quarterback position.
I was going to say, I think the biggest point is the point you made last, where Sony Michel, you get that if you're not playing Cup with Stafford, which I 100% agree. I mean, they have so many weapons, OBJ, Van Jefferson, Higbee. You already get leverage not playing Cup. And then Sony Michel at running back is one of the most popular plays on the slate. How does he not get there in a 26.5 implied total? Matthew Stafford's throwing touchdowns. The guy's not, I mean, Sony Michel's not like Darrell Williams. If I'm playing Mahomes, I'm probably going to actually play Darrell Williams. He's going to get a lot of checkdowns. You automatically get different at running back. It makes so much sense. Whereas Michel, he's not known for, Stafford's not dumping it down to him 5+ times a game. He's going to get the rushing touchdown. So I think Stafford makes a lot of sense. I personally don't have as much interest on the other side with Huntley. If I'm going to go down, I'm personally just going to play Trey Lance. I'm bullish on him. He's popular, but if you're going to play Lance, I personally think if you play Lance, you either get overweight or you don't play him at all. That's how I'm approaching it personally, though. So no Huntley for me. I think Stafford makes sense. Get leverage off of Michel. A couple other guys I'll mention. The Josh Allen at AK, I think he does make some sense. I'm a huge Josh Allen guy. His ceiling is absolutely huge. Atlanta is awful. AK is steep, though. In the upper tier, so you got to pick some guys. You can't play everyone in the upper tier. I see Tom Brady at 5% right now at 7.6K. Ronald Jones, right back to the Rams situation. Ronald Jones is going to get ownership at running back. Makes sense. I mean, a double-digit point favorite against the Jets. They should be up. They're probably going to be running the ball. But we've seen Tom Brady up 30, still passing the ball. He has 4 touchdown plus upside. Antonio Brown's going to be popular, so you can decide, are you going to eat that chalk? Personally, if he plays, I think that is good chalk. You talk about wide receivers, though. You can always fade popular wide receivers. The price tag on DraftKings is just absolutely silly, so it's pretty hard to ignore, but you can also throw another pass catcher in there. 5% Tom Brady in week 17 against a Jets team. I think he makes a lot of sense, so I'm going to be overweight on him in the upper tier. Like I mentioned, Justin Herbert at 6'8", the direct pivot from Dak. Herbert's a complete stud, easy to pair, 300-yard plus upside for the bonus too. I think he makes the sense in the mid tier, and then Trey Lance in the bottom tier. So I like keeping my player pool short. Brady and Allen are my guys up top, and I think Brady's ownership's absolutely criminal. Herbert in the mid tier, and then Lance. So I don't mind Huntley. I think what you said makes sense, but I don't think you can play like quarterback's a position where I like to take stands on, because then you get way overweight on your stacks. You can stack it more ways than if you just spread yourself and you play 13. Then you got to try and bink the right stacks, the right run backs, and the right other pieces in it. Whereas if you just go heavy on 3 or 4 quarterbacks, even in 152, maybe 5 or 6 what I do, but I cap it at 6 quarterbacks usually, because then you can just stack it so many different ways. The run backs, you can run back 1 or 2 or 3 guys in that game. And then just so many different combinations you can get. So I'll cap it off. I like Josh Allen. I'm not going to have too much Josh Allen, I don't think. But what? Diggs is going to be low owned. Gabriel Davis has been going off, so it's not like his weapons are popular. Singletary will be the most popular of them all. Then you got Tom Brady, low owned Tom Brady. Sign me up against a bad Jets team. Herbert in the mid tier. And then otherwise, I'm going all the way down to Trey Lance. And I'm glad you agree that you don't really need to pair him either. I agreed with both of you. Brandon Cooks was in my tournament lineup as well. I think having a run back, Rex Burkhead, could be another one if you want. He's coming off a big game, but I think the run back's the most important, because then the game's somewhat close. They're not just going to be running out the clock, handing it off. So I like that call. I think Trey Lance, don't need a stack, run it back with Cooks is how I'm approaching him too.
Yeah, I like that. AP, anything else you want to bring up at quarterback? Otherwise, we can move on to the running back position.
No, the only thing I want to bring up is I was too embarrassed to talk about sexy Rex Burkhead last week. The other thing, Nebraska homer. So we don't have many players in the NFL. We have a couple defensive pieces for Tampa Bay. Then there's Rex Burkhead and Amir Abdullah, which had I know we're going to running back, but I saw he was getting a little steam. Maybe that was just like me. I was working pretty late last night, having a few White Claws, but I'm like, how is this dude getting ownership? So it was something I was looking into it a little bit deeper, but no, nothing left at the quarterback spot.
All right. I want to bring up one more thing before we go to running back, and that's the likes. I see 400 people watching. I see 100 likes. It's hurtful. I know it's, the new year and you're probably still hungover from New Year's Eve, but it's January 2nd now. It's time to get motivated. We talked about the gym off the top. Get off the couch, click the like button, hit it. Let's go. We're going to running back. AP, I'll click it right back to you. We talked about them already. This is where I had it off the top of the show. Like, man, there's 28 teams to pick running backs from, but it's people are telling me you can only play these 3 or 4 maybe. David Montgomery, Sony Michel, Ronald Jones, and then, of course, if you're paying up, Jonathan Taylor against the Raiders. What are your thoughts on that? Talk to me about these guys and where you're going at the running back position this week.
I mean, man, you're getting me fired up, and you're right. You know, Tambo, like, come on, guys, stop being lazy. Get off the couch. Get to your desk. 30
just off that comment. So come on, give me 30
get to your desk.
30 more. Put those reps in. You talked about the work.
Get to the keyboard. Get those fingers going. Yeah. Oh man, that's too good. Yeah, running back this week is definitely interesting. We see it every week. It's like we go into these weeks and it's like, gosh, how's this guy going to bust? How's this guy, you know, and then you see it. Then it's like, oh, duh, you know, why'd I play that guy? So like, you can't like look at these running backs and just say this guy's a lock. Like there's no way he can fail. You have to look at like all of them, and then you just gotta, you know, kind of marry it with your build. And so when it comes to chalk, I'm gonna be off David Montgomery. That's a guy I'm fine fading. I know the matchup is fine. Sony Michel feels like a tougher fade, but again, like he's gonna be one of the more popular running backs, and he's going to get the volume. Luckily on DraftKings, it's maybe somewhat of an easier fade because he's typically not getting dump offs. You know, he's not as involved in the pass catching game. I think for me, one of the main running backs I really like. So actually for me, it's pretty easy to get off the chalk this week. Darrell Williams in these spots too, with Clyde out, he like always goes a little like overlooked because he's always in that mid 5K, upper 5K range. And it's crazy how they're using him. He's going to be the lead back, but they're using Gore too to kind of just, you know, give him rest and pound away. But they're also using him as a wideout. Like the Chiefs have gotten very creative with Darrell Williams. The other thing about it too is you compare him with Mahomes, like because what's happened with Clyde is he's been so efficient in the red zone at just, you know, getting rushing touchdowns. With Darrell Williams, I'm not saying he's not as good in the red zone as Clyde. What I'm saying is they're going to have more of a pass heavy script, I think, in the red zone. Just kind of, you know, my prediction there. And so you compare him with Mahomes. So Darrell Williams, 5'8" on DraftKings, definitely one of my favorite running backs this week. Now, what are we going to do about Sony Michel? How do we pivot off of him? Where are we going to go? One of the running backs I really like is Damian Harris. I'm trying to pull up his ownership projection. He's going to be sub 5%. And I know price wise, actually a better comparison is off of Ronald Jones. So they're much closer in price. I think Damian Harris is a phenomenal pivot off of him. Perfect script right there. We've seen that they just love to feed him, and he's been good at getting to the end zone. So, you know, for me, it's going to be a little bit easier to get off the chalk. Other players I'm looking at too, just some of these cheapies. One we talked about last night, Keyshawn Vaughn. I'm really curious to see what you guys have to say about him. So if I'm getting off of Ronald Jones, which I want to, like, I didn't play Ronald Jones last week. I don't want to play him this week. I don't know if I'm just kind of fixated by that one big play he had, but I mean, the guy looked decent, you know, 5'2" against the Jets. Obviously he should be able to get in there and get a little bit more work. Really curious, you know, 5'2" on DraftKings, what you guys have to say about him.
Yeah, that's a big one for sure this week. I don't know. I feel like that Vaughn play, the more I looked into it, just looking back, it was basically one play, 55-yard touchdown. Obviously, when people, you know, are playing running back and looking for leverage, that's what they'll do. They'll say, okay, if David Montgomery is going to be this, maybe I'll try Khalil Herbert in the large field stuff. I just think that's a little bit crazier. So for me, this is one of the easiest spots. Look, if the running back chalk hits this week, I'm probably dead because I think all these plays are horrible. When you have this much, you know, for me, like I said, a lot of people told me there's only 5 or 6 running backs you could play. I know other sites and things are talking. It seems so tough to pivot this week. These plays are just too good. And I think for cash games, all that stuff, sure, it's fine. But if you scroll down through the board, like first off, Jonathan Taylor, I'm going to rattle mine quick, Title, and then I'll go to you. But
you're good.
Jonathan Taylor, same thing as Cooper Kupp. If he breaks it, like he doesn't even get 40 or anything. He gets like 35, and that's probably not enough. There's other running backs on this slate that are going to do it. I think if he gets you 50, my week's over anyway, so I don't care. I'll just move on to next week. We still get more regular season, one more week, the extra game this season, and then we get playoffs, lots of slates to make money. We're never afraid of making money here at Runpure Sports. I'm not too worried about that. You go down, I think Eckler and Mixon underneath him are both more exciting. I think those are two plays that are coming in way lower owned that can do the same as him or more, get involved from a PPR aspect even more, which is important on DraftKings. So I think that's good. And then the other thing is just going back to the chalk at the top. I was going to look at the price here. Just give me 2 seconds. I'm lost on my pricing, but at 6K, I was trying to show this off because you got Montgomery. First of all, I know the matchup. The guy, they're projecting him for 20 points in most places, like a free 20. I wish it was that easy. I sound like Big T here, but I don't know how these sites just say, bang, he's 20 points. If you go back to look at the entire season, he's broke it like 3 times. You've got Herbert there. You've got Damian Williams. You've got Andy Dalton at the helm running things up. One of the worst offenses, worst coaches in football. I don't understand. If it happens, it happens. I get it. Like I said, for cash games, people want the 20 touches versus the Giants. That's what everyone's saying, the same thing. But I don't understand when there's all this other stuff that could happen there. And then Sony Michel, why the hell would they ever run it against Baltimore all game when you've got those weapons in Kupp, Van Jefferson, OBJ, Higbee? The best way, which we just saw Burrow do last week right now against that high school secondary of the Ravens, is to pass. And that's all the Rams do anyway, is pass. So the check down options at the chalk for me would be Ronald Jones. At least Brady could throw it down to him a little bit. It's a better offense. It's against the Jets. Like that one I could understand and stomach a little bit more. I like the New England guys that you talked about, AP. I think you go there, whether it's Harris. That's one where I'd be okay saying I could even go to Ramondre Stevenson at super low ownership and just pair him up with the Patriots defense. And they literally could shut them out today or definitely hold them to under, I believe it's the 13-point threshold to keep the defense score up there quite a bit on top of what they want to do. And the chat's already talking about it. They're on me. He's a good play. The Bears want to pound the ball. They do. They got 3 guys they can do it with. They have a shitty quarterback and a horrible coach. So just because they want to do something, the Jags wanted to pound the ball a couple times before the injury week for James Robinson at chalk, and it didn't work out. But it's what they wanted to do. But they had a shitty coach who's now fired. It's the same thing, who's going to be fired with Nagy and the Bears. So lots of other guys. And going to you in 1 second here, I promise, Title. But just look at this. Rashad Penny. DJ Dallas got work. Maybe people are scared of it. He made sense on a 2-game slate. He gets work like when they're up or they're not into it. So Rashad Penny crushes the game logs for like 3 games straight of most of the guys that are chalk this week. Elijah Mitchell, supposed to play today. Listen, the thing about Elijah Mitchell is simple. When he's been there, doesn't matter what the coach speak is, he's been getting the work and he's been going off and he can break a slate. DeAndre Swift, they even talked about him getting full. Why would they lie? Why do they need to have coach speak for Detroit, one of the worst teams in the entire league? They just said they're going to slam him. DeAndre Swift, Darrell Williams, who we already talked about. The list goes on, man. There's so many guys here that you can play that everyone's scared of, just plugging in the chalk. And then you're wondering why the afternoon game comes and you can't even late swap because your lineups are so dead from these morning running backs. So Title, long-winded way of saying I think the running back chalk is horrible this week. What are your thoughts here at running back?
Yeah, I think you guys made a couple people that stood out to me. AP with Darrell Williams, we talked about a little with Mahomes. I think Darrell Williams makes a ton of sense. Good offense. They're going to move the football. He's going to have chances to get in the box. He makes a lot of sense. Rashad Penny at 6.1K. The weather's supposed to be bad in that game. It's going to be raining. The later the game goes, the worse it's going to get. I hate playing guys on Seattle and Detroit. I want to mainly cross that game off, especially with the weather bad. But Penny at 6.1, ton of sense, I think. I mean, Detroit's so bad. He's going to get the ball 20 plus times, I think. They're implied for 25 points at home. Game script's going to be good. I think Penny and Darrell Williams make a lot of sense. 2 other guys that I think are going to be lower owned off the chalk as well. Michael Carter at 5.1K. Everyone's going to play Braxton Berrios in the run back. Michael Carter, I like the Tampa game. He's plus 150 or he's plus 175 to get in the box. Braxton Berrios is plus 450. Michael Carter can get garbage time touchdowns. He can catch dump offs. He's pretty explosive. So if I'm going to play Tom Brady and stack that game up and maybe eat Antonio Brown chalk, I am not going to run it back with Braxton Berrios chalk. I can almost promise you Big T is not going to play Braxton Berrios. I think Michael Carter makes sense at 5.1K. Another guy that's going completely overlooked in the David Montgomery, Ronald Jones, Sony Michel reign is Josh Jacobs at 6.2K. He's plus 110 to get in the box as well. Montgomery, minus 110. Michel, minus 110. That's like flipping coins, plus 110, or minus 110, plus 110. And the ownership's going to be, Michel and Montgomery are going to be what, 6-7 times more popular than Josh Jacobs. He's going to get the ball out. He's explosive. He also can catch dump offs. I think the Indianapolis game makes some sense too. So Jacobs 6'2", Michael Carter 5'1", both sub 10%. I think they make a lot of sense. Devin Singletary is an interesting one too. They're applied for 29 points, which is leading the slate. If you're not playing Josh Allen, if you're not playing Diggs, if you have no Bills exposure, Singletary in a double-digit point game where they're favored, the weather can get a little iffy. It looks like most of the bad weather is going to be out of the way pre-game, but still going to be cold there. They just have no one else. Singletary is their lead guy. Week 15, Zach Moss was a healthy scratch. Week 16, Burrito was a healthy scratch. So Singletary's their guy. They're taking him over. I think Singletary at 5'4", he's not going to be as low owned as Carter, as Jacobs, as Williams, as Penny and stuff, but I do think Michel, Montgomery, Jonathan Taylor, and Ronald Jones are the clear guys that are going to get it. So I think Singletary makes some sense as well. And I really do like your mixing call that you brought up at 7.5K. People are going to want to go back to the passing game. It just blew up last week. I think some people are going to be on the Chiefs a little bit as well. Joe Mixon's a complete stud. He has 30-plus point upside as we've seen to break slates. Austin Eckler right there in the same range. So 8.2K. I like the Chargers. You can play Eckler with Justin Herbert and then one pass catcher. We know Eckler catches passes and stuff like that. I already like Herbert as a stack. So I like the Mixon, Eckler in the upper tier to get off of Jonathan Taylor. I'm really focused in on, though, the Michael Carter, Josh Jacobs. It sounds gross. I hate playing Jets, but it just makes so much sense to me with Braxton Berrios chalk somehow in a game I already love with Tom Brady. So Michael Carter is probably my favorite leverage running back play this week.
And I like the Michael Carter call quite a bit. I like DeAndre Swift. I think the thing about DeAndre Swift, someone said in the chat, Lions could win. If they do, that's great. But he works both game scripts. He can be part of the win. He can be part of when they're down and all those check downs. So that's why I like a guy like DeAndre Swift. Some of the other stuff brought up AP, and I'll flip to you for thoughts on this. But, you know, this is where I said it all season long. It hasn't really burned me that many times, but trying to get these other situations right. Look, Burkhead just crushed the Chargers. Why wouldn't Javonte Williams? But then you've got Melvin Gordon, both expected to play. You're always chopping up against your ceiling in that scenario in most cases. And then the same thing for Washington. No Gibson, fine. But now you got to decide between Jared Patterson and going with Jonathan Williams. And I forget, they even have somebody else there too. It's like you're just trying too much to make something work. And even if you are right, you said, oh, I told you Tambo is going to be Patterson. You still have to get everything else right with it. And you need more things to happen for you than just playing some of these great running backs like a Joe Mixon, who's in a good spot. The only show in town, has 30 points. How many times on the season? 25 plus, where you can just lock that in at 7,500 and get some points that way. So lots of other stuff you can do there. It looks like Howard will play. I haven't seen the latest on him yet for Philadelphia, that is. So, you know, Boston Scott could have been a play at 4,900. You could maybe still try it out. But AP, what are your thoughts on some of these other running backs off the chalk here?
Yeah, I really like the Carter call. One thing to keep in mind, for those early tilters, expect you got to wait the whole game out for Michael Carter. Like part of that, him getting there is probably going to be in garbage time. I was on the Panthers last week, just like betting wise. I thought they were gonna. I should have thought more into it. Like when you're playing two quarterbacks in a split time, like usually that's not a good thing for a team. You want your quarterback to get into rhythm, and the Bucs just destroyed them. So like hindsight 2020, obviously, but Carter here, I mean, he's skilled. He's their best running back. Get him into open space and let him do his thing. If they do that, that's the way. You don't want to run the ball up the middle against the Bucs too. That doesn't work. Get him in space against the Bucs. Make these linebackers work. And if he does that, I really like him. I got a few dustier running backs that I wouldn't mind your guys' opinion on. One of them, another Nebraska guy, but Amir Abdul. I was looking at it. He would have what happened? So he tripped. He was in the red zone. He had, I think, 2 red zone targets. He tripped. It would have been like a walk-in touchdown, I believe, last week. So let's just say he gets that. He's coming in with back-to-back then double-digit DK points at 4.6K. It looks like he's splitting time with Chuba Hubbard right around 45 to 55%. It looks like when Sam Darnold is in there, obviously he's throwing a lot more than Cam Newton. He's obviously looking at pass catching type running backs. I mean, do you guys think, I don't watch like a lot of Panthers games. Like, are they trying to use Amir Abdullah, like maybe to just, teach or start to build up Chuba Hubbard a little bit, just more in the passing game, like they were Christian McCaffrey? I'm not comparing the two at all. I'm just saying, are we going to continue to expect, 6 targets, 4 targets, 6 targets? And these targets are coming in nice spots right around the red zone and everything like that. So, I mean, Amir Abdullah, 4.6, it's dusty, but he's a guy I'm looking at because I do like these cheap running backs. One other guy that is on my list. So, like, one thing I read, I don't know if you guys saw this, but like Saquon Barkley, I read somewhere that they could be phasing him out here. I don't have any confirmed information on that, but if that's so, you have a potential Eli Penny and Devontae Booker. I know, again, kind of dusty spots. I don't know if I'm going to get there, but it might be relevant to talk about if, in fact, Saquon is being phased out just because, his injury history, or if that's fake news.
We're going to sweep this dust off the show here in a minute. The guys you're bringing up, we named like 12 running backs and how you don't have to play the chalk. I don't hate the calls. I mean, some of them, especially
Tambo, you told me to talk way off the chalk. I regret not talking about Rex Burkhead last week because I ended up playing him a little bit.
Off the chalk, all right. Like I said, you took the chalk dust and swept it over into the corner, and that's what you started rolling out. Amir Abdullah and Eli Penny and all these other dudes. Man, we got to move on. We got to go to wide receiver. I love my guy AP. It's just good to mess with him. But guys, we got 550 people watching, 180 likes. We're pushing for 300 today. Got about 25 minutes left to do it. So hit the like button, little thumbs up right down there in the corner. Make it easy for you. Moving on to wide receiver, though, and I'm going to go to you first here, Title. We've got Antonio Brown, who it looks like he'll play. I know the conversation all week is about the incentives, and we've got Jalen Waddle has some incentives. He's got a hit, but the AP, is he rich? Is he poor? Does he need this $1 million? Is he still just the best price play at 6,100 based on, how Brady loves to go to him? Cooper Kupp, who we already talked about, and then Braxton Berrios. These are the 3 guys. Like, my God, the chalk is so bad this week, and if it hits, 2022 is no different than 2021, I guess. But man, this is so bad if this is what goes down on a 14-game slate. Talk to me about Antonio Brown, Cooper Kupp, and Braxton Berrios.
Yeah, I love when the chalk hits. It's been good in cash games because that's where more of my volume is. But I'm not playing Braxton Berrios in as chalk in tournaments. That's why I talked about Michael Carter and the love for him. So he's an easy cross off. Cooper Kupp at 9.5, like you said, when someone's going to be so popular, and rightfully so, what a year Cooper's Kupp's having, the records he's about to break. But they have Michelle, they have Higbee, they have Van Jefferson, they have OBJ. There's so many other weapons too, where do you want to eat 9.5K chalk? I don't really think you need to. I'm in agreement with you there. Antonio Brown's a tougher one for me to fade if he does play. Obviously, we know the incentives he has, but he's 6.1K. He's like 8.5 on FanDuel. Tom Brady, I already like Tom Brady. So I think that is chalk that I'm going to eat, that pairing. They've been so good. Antonio Brown, whenever he's played, Brady absolutely loves him. He looks like a complete monster, like the old AB. I'm already going to stack that game a little bit. So that is chalk I'm eating. I don't know, right, wrong, and different, but I'll fade enough other stuff in tournaments that I'm going to eat some. So sign me up for Antonio Brown. A couple other guys. We haven't talked as much about this Dallas-Arizona game. It's the one of the 2 games that have a total above 50. The Chiefs game also has gotten some steam and above 50 as well. But Christian Kirk on Arizona at 5.8K. They're in a dome. I expect this game to have some fun. I don't want to fully avoid this game, but I think the receivers are the way to get pieces. Kirk's my favorite on the Arizona side. He has massive upside. Should have had a touchdown last week too that he dropped. And as far as the Dallas side, CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup. CeeDee Lamb at 7.1. If you're not playing Cooper Kupp, you're going to have money to spend. Would you be surprised if CeeDee Lamb outscored Cooper Kupp in raw points? I mean, yeah, it's not the most likely outcome, but we know the ceiling is right there. Love CeeDee in this spot. Michael Gallup at 4.8. He's pretty cheap. I think he goes kind of overlooked. I mean, he'll get some ownership, of course, but he has all the upside in the world too. So I love Kirk. I love Lamb. I love Gallup all in this spot. We talked about Brandon Cooks. He's my favorite run back. I love Cooks. Davis Mills is playing really good football. And Cooks, like, he's garbage time proof. We've seen Cooks have 3 catches for 40 yards, and you go into the last drive and they're down 24, and he just goes and rattles off 60 yards and a touchdown that drive. So I love Brandon Cooks. I like Trey Lance a lot. I don't like stacking him, but we talked about it. I think the run back makes a lot of sense. I want to like Amon St. Brown. He's a complete stud. I think he's going to be a stud for a long time, but the weather in Seattle is worrying me. There's going to be rain. There's going to be winds. The later the game goes, the worse the weather is going to get. So I think I'm just pretty much Xing that game off outside of Penny personally. It's 14 game slate. We haven't really seen main slates as big as this, really. I think it's a good idea to just X some games off that you just think are going to be gross between bad teams. I hate playing the Seahawks. I don't really like playing the Lions. So I want to like St. Brown, but I'm probably not going to get there this week. A guy I do like is DJ Moore at 5.6K. Sam Darnold's back. We saw in the beginning of this year, DJ Moore was just getting peppered constantly with targets. Robbie Anderson was a non-factor with Sam Darnold. We're getting 5.6K. DJ Moore in a dome against New Orleans at 5'6", 100+ yard upside for sure with touchdowns. I like him in the mid tier a lot for sure. So last guy I'll mention, but again, the weather concerns me in Miami. I want to like AJ Brown at 7.2K. I want to like Waddle, who's been a complete stud. It's going to be wet. It's going to be raining. It's going to be snowing. There's going to be a little winds. I just think I'm going to cross off this Miami-Tennessee game, even though I like the passing game, or like I want to like the passing game in good weather. I think I'm just going to cross it off too. So at the end of the day, Cooks, absolutely love Cooks. I really, really like this Dallas, Arizona game for the wideouts. And then DJ Moore and Antonio Brown is where I'm going to have a lot of exposure to in tournaments.
Yeah, the guys at the top, I think everything you mentioned goes with it. And you brought up most of the names, so I'll just repeat it quick. But Antonio Brown is the guy I would like the most, just based on the fact of how Tom Brady already peppers them anyway. They're still down guys. No Fournette, no Godwin. Evans likely to play, but to be limited is what they're saying as of right now. So it doesn't really matter to me. I just still think Antonio Brown can pick up catches. The price bump there didn't get enough of a bump. Not really in like Barrios chalk at 3,700. Never like that. I've got some other guys down there. Our boy AP already can't wait to talk about some dusty plays. If after Amir Abdullah, I don't know what else he can bring up. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. Cooper Kupp, I already talked off. Like we don't need that. So going down though, I think it's interesting under AP though, what we have. And you mentioned some of them. So, DJ Moore, I think that could be a good play. Brandon Cooks, who we talked about earlier, is $100 less and is right there. Michael Pittman is a nice little leverage play off of Jonathan Taylor. If you want to get different in that game, I think that's the way you can definitely beat the Raiders that way. So I think he could be a guy that you could plug in. And then just going down the board, the Jalen Waddle piece, trying to get Anquan Bolden with that record for rookie receptions. Tua has been okay. He's been fine enough to at least get him the ball. We'll have to see what the weather's like you said, things like that. But for me, I'm okay with all of those guys if you wanted to get different. And it's just a whole point of, someone in the chat mentioned earlier, a little NBA conversation, because we like that here, especially with Title on the show and AP, and talk about who's the Hamidou Diallo of today's slate. That's like exactly. This guy goes, Campazzo busted Jokic last night at $3,400 against 12-6 or whatever. Like there's 14 games and you're telling me you got to just jam these guys in at 30%. The likelihood they're there at the end is not as high as what you would think. And then someone said, is it more of a true GPP slate? I think absolutely. When you've got this many games, this many options, this many dudes that you can play, and people are telling you it's got to be this lineup or something exactly like that, it could happen. But I'm willing to go off the board completely. And even if you're not playing 150 lineups, the point would just be to sit down, look at your lineup, and see how much chalk do you really have in there, and where can you get different, or what are some of these plays you can take from the things we've talked about to leverage up and get a little bit different. So AP, talk to me about the guys at the top, and then you can flip right to the bottom if you want after that in the spirit of time, and bring up your Dusty guy as well.
Yeah, I know we're flying through the show. One thing, like DJ Moore was my play of the week last week, and God, the targets were there. He got peppered, but the flip-flop between Cam, and the quarterbacks there just was very hurtful. But I like that call a lot. Title and a bunch of those other ones. Antonio Brown, 6'1", that's definitely chalk and willing to eat. The one thing that could maybe keep ownership somewhat down is his ankle injury and the questionable status and limited practice. But if he's good to go without any limitations, I always try to assume that he's good to go. He's going to play the whole game. So under that assumption, at 6'1" in a phenomenal matchup, he's fine. Cooper Kupp is the guy. This is going to be a tough fade, but man, I'm a tournament player, and as Tambo, as you talk about often, like as long as he doesn't as long as he doesn't put up like 40 plus, I'm still fine in tournaments. I know it sounds crazy to say, but look, like Cooper Kupp, Jonathan Taylor, these high-priced guys are going to eat a lot of ownership, and I'm committing to my stacks this week, and that's how I'm going to get different. Braxton Berrios, no, I need a cheap receiver this week. It's not going to be Braxton Berrios, though. I have a few other ones that I like quite a bit. My top receivers are actually they're actually surprisingly going to be somewhat low owned. T. Higgins, I mean, this dude is an absolute beast, 6'9", one of my favorite. I have him in my top 3, along with Tyler Boyd. I love how they're starting to use Tyler Boyd. He's a cheaper receiver. Man, he's I think he's going to be a guy that gets looked at quite a bit this week. One thing the Chiefs like to do is take away that deep ball, or one thing I've seen of late, they like to take away that deep ball. So that's going to bring in Tyler Boyd, a lot of T. Higgins. Love those two guys in stacks in that game. Brandon Cooks was a receiver that we talked about very high on. I do think he's going to get some ownership. The way I'm playing Brandon Cooks, as we talked about earlier in the show, he's going to be in my Trey Lance builds. So kind of a funky deal. That's not his quarterback. I know it's just a correlation, though. Quarterback with running upside that's cheap with the opposing wide receiver, just playing a little game script there. That's one I definitely like. Now, getting off the chalk here, man, if we get Sam Darnold in this game, the full game, he's just going to chuck all game long. I'm not saying playing Sam Darnold. I mean, if you want to, in the Millie Maker, pair him with DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson. Dusty, I know, but it's going to be at the low total game, but he's just going to be chucking all game long. The volume is going to be there. You never know what can happen. One of these guys could break off, 60-yarder for a touchdown early on, and you have a perfect script set up. And as we've seen in this year's NFL, anything can happen. Like literally anything can happen. So some of these dusty plays are definitely dust, but DJ Moore, Robbie Anderson, they're going to get the volume, double-digit targets the last few weeks. Guys that I have moderate interest in. Now, I said I need a cheapie, and this is where I might get kicked off the show. Let me start with the less dusty one. Zay Jones, still dusty, but the guy's getting the targets, and he's been producing. And I got to give a shout-out to DC. He was talking him up last night on our show. The one I was talking up that I got laughed at and made fun of, but I went back to it. I looked at a few things. Like, he's not good, but he played almost 100% of the snaps last week, and he's been trending up. The targets are getting there, but N'Keal Harry in a matchup against the Jaguars. I mean, if he's going to get 100% of the snaps again this week, and if he's going to get 6-7 targets, he's 3K. I'm fine going there. They're in team total 29 points. Could he, fall and land in the end zone? Sure. That's kind of what I'm banking on there. But I need, for these builds I'm looking at, I need one cheap guy, and I don't want him to be Berrios. The one other one, and this I got to give a shout out to Snyder. And honestly, I want your guys' opinion on these cheap guys. It'll help me dial these in. But Kendall Hinton, flat 3K for the Broncos, and what should be, a positive script outside of the fact that the Broncos don't like to throw the ball at all. They would just love to pound Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams all day. But do you guys have an opinion on any of those really cheap, dusty wide receivers that I mentioned?
On Hinton, you insert Snoop Dogg who.gif because that's just like no one cares about Hinton. I'm going to dust him off the show too, but I do like one you said, and it was Zay Jones. And I want to bring this up because I think this is a great way. This is how I always look at slates. Give you guys the good stuff here. Plug into your lineup Antonio Brown and Berrios, the two highest owned guys, and then go down from Brown to Michael Pittman Jr., go up from Berrios to Zay Jones, get yourself a secondary stack, get off the Jonathan Taylor chalk and going with your guy Michael Pittman there, and you've got the same exact situation. They almost project like similarly. They have the similar ceilings, all of that. If you want to get different. Now in cash games, I think people will just go with A, B, and that, and I'm fine with it. But I'm just saying in large field tournaments, that's all you have to do sometimes to make it happen. People are looking for these diamonds in the rough and Hinton gems. Let me get I can't wait, AP, to see a nice Mahomes game stack go off with Abdullah and Hinton in it just to make it all work. That'll be the nut lineup. You should put that right in your core over at Runpure Sports.
I don't think I can do that.
You think?
No, I don't think I can do that.
I don't think I can.
I have Harry ahead. Hey, call me crazy, but look, like the matchup's perfect. I'm looking at the implied team total. I'm looking at if they're going to score 4 touchdowns. One, I really like Damian Harris, but if it's not going to him, there's a high likelihood that we know Jacoby Myers. What does he have? 1 touchdown catch in his career in the NFL. So. Maybe it goes to him, but I would not be surprised if random N'Keal Harry or Kendrick Bourne or Hunter Henry is kind of the one.
I won't be surprised, actually, to be honest, either a wide receiver on a 14-game slate across 28 teams if one of these guys goes off. That's kind of the point we're always making. So I love you for that. I think that makes a good call there. Deontay Harris, someone brought up in the chat. I think it's possible. Taysom Hill, Harris, Troutman, run it back with DJ Moore. There you go. Or Abdullah. If you want, put that guy in there. You can get the checkdowns on the way back. But I don't know. I think for a spirit of time, we'll move on. If you guys have more questions, throw them in the chat. Our boy Jerker out there saying we're boosting Zay's ownership. It won't be enough. Don't matter. He's too cheap. You can have the spot. He's getting snaps and targets.
Real quick, Michael Gallup. I don't think we mentioned him, but he's one that I'm pretty high up on my list. If you're wanting that Cowboy, are you guys pretty high on him?
He's fine in that. Yeah, he's cheap enough. And you've got Lamb and I think the one for me that's going overlooked, I think that's kind of funny, is that it's good you brought it up. People either go to Lamb based on target share and all that, or they'll say, I'll just skip down. Amari Cooper just put up like 21 last week. He can definitely do it again. People are always worried about injury and stuff, but you can't really play for that. It's not like he's Julio Jones level bad, who's, by the way, out this week. We didn't talk about AJ Brown, but just saying in the sense of that Amari Cooper could definitely be the guy for Dallas this week and sort of stuck right there in the middle. And again, he's another pivot. He's 6,600, I believe, right out in that mid tier of sort of between going up to the 7K range, where, like I said, a lot of people don't even put up 20 often, or going down to like Antonio Brown, who we talked about. So I definitely like some of that Dallas game, and Gallup could be in the mix as well. Let's talk about tight end though, Title. I'm going to bring it over to you. You liked Justin Herbert earlier. I think it's a great call. This is sort of where things start to make me think it could get a little more popular, at least this route. We didn't talk about Mike Williams either, wide receiver, who I like this week. He's going extremely under-owned. Him and Allen, you can definitely have Herbert, Eckler, Allen, Herbert, Eckler, Williams, and forget the cheap tight end. But everyone on the Steven Anderson train here at $2,500. Obviously, Parham went to IR a little while back. Now Cook is out this week. So you've got Steven Anderson there. And then after that, you've got just a litany of guys. You got Dallas Goedert, Foster Moreau, Ertz, Uzoma, all these guys. So what are your thoughts here at the tight end position?
Yeah, I like the Herbert. I like the Charter stack, but I'm not going to eat the chalk at tight end. And it's not going to be like crazy chalk. I think tight end is going to be relatively spread out this week, but I don't think I'm going to stack Steven Anderson with Herbert. He's min price at 2.5, but this week, I mean, we don't really need the salary too much this week. There's a lot of cheap options like a Lance. There's running backs. Michael Carter's cheap. There's certain spots where I don't think full punting tight end, I'm going to do that and eat some chalk there. A couple tight ends I do like. Going right back to the Arizona-Dallas game, I really like the pass catchers in this game. I'm avoiding the running game on both sides. I'm not playing Zeke. There's Pollard. There's Edmonds. I'm just avoiding that. But Dalton Schultz, I don't think anyone's playing Dalton Schultz at 5K. Zach Ertz at 5.2K. He might be a little more popular. He's going to be more popular on FanDuel. But I think Ertz, Ertz, I've been on like, wow, he might be a little dusty. He's over the hill. But we can't ignore the volume he's getting on this team. No DeAndre Hopkins. Think he has a lot of upside at 5.2. Dalton Schultz at 5K has a lot of upside. Really like those two in tournaments in a great game environment in a dome. Another guy I'll mention, Foster Moreau at 3.8K. I think he makes sense. I mean, it was only a couple of weeks ago where he was just mega chalk. Now no one's really playing him anymore. I think this Vegas side, I think that game in general, another game in a dome, everyone's going to go to Jonathan Taylor in that game, and that's pretty much all they're going to run. I think one of like Jacobs, Zay Jones, which I agree with you guys. I think that's a good call. Foster Moreau. I think this Vegas side, I think we see points in this game. I don't think people play this game. you don't want to go overboard on it. And yes, it does kind of suck that they have so many different weapons. You have to get the right guy to work. But what? Jacobs isn't breaking the bank. Zay Jones is under 4K. Foster Moreau's under 4K. So I'd rather take a chance at guys that are cheap, that won't absolutely bury my lineups, that have some upside, rather than playing and guessing which guy's going to go off at 6, 7K, stuff like that. So I like Foster Moreau 3-8. My favorite tight end, Zach Ertz, Dalton Schultz in that really good game. And then if you're stacking this Kansas City game, like AP and some other guys are, you can't ignore CJ Uzomah at 3.3K. He'll get some ownership. Again, tight end's going to be relatively spread out. I think Anderson and Goddard do get the most ownerships. I just don't really eat tight end chalk too much, but I think Uzomah at 3.3K has some upside. If people want to chase the Burrow or chase the Higgins and stuff like that, let them do that. I think Uzomah is cheap, but give me Schultz, Ertz, and Foster Moreau as my 3 favorite tight ends.
All right, AP, what do you like here at tight end this week? We talked a little bit about the guys at the top, the chalk, and then everybody else you're on, so we can move on from here.
Yeah, Title, you dominated the tight end section. I'm gonna keep my speech very simple here, and I love tight end this week, but my pool is going to be extremely short. Look, so the guy that is in the best matchup this week, and let me just review a few that have gone off against this team, and I'm talking about the Bengals. Waller, 7 catches, 116, 0 touchdowns for 21.6. Mark Andrews, 8 catches, 125 for a tutty for 29.5. And then George Kittle, 13, 151 and a touchdown. Look, like this team, we're talking about it last night. They just get destroyed by tight ends. They love to run, 4 or 5 DBs out there, 3 linebackers. Travis Kelce is absolutely going to expose them. He's going to go off this week. My favorite tight end by far. And he's getting overlooked too. I think I'm going to get him relatively lower owned. And look, he's fresh. He's coming off a free week where he got to hang out at home in COVID protocols. He is going to be healthy, fresh, and I think he's going to absolutely smash today.
Yeah, I like just flipping the build. Obviously, a lot of good chalk plays or cheap plays, I should say, that could be considered chalk or not here at tight end, but flipping it and using Kelce or Andrews or going up to Schultz or Ertz in that game, as Title mentioned, at the 5K price point. I like that sort of balanced structure, or using cheaper receivers or running backs to make a more expensive tight end work. Andrews, who I mentioned earlier, just like Kelce, in a great spot to smash. One other thing, guys, too, 660 watching, just about at 250 likes before we get out of here soon. We're going to give our off the chalk plays of the day after a quick run at the defense, but you're going to give those likes to Big T and Hoop anyway. And Holden, give me those likes. Take those likes away from them right now. Do me a favor. We've been here early in the morning. It's free to hit that like button. Almost 700 people watching, a huge crew this morning. We appreciate you this early. Hit that like button for us. It goes a long way and it's free. Rounding it out, like I said, talk about defense here. I'll go to you in a sec, Title, but we do a little bit of defense on the show before the off the chalk play of the day. It looks like the Bears are going to be a popular pairing. And by the way, speaking of Bears, just quick on tight end, Cole Kmet, leverage play on the slate, or Mooney back at wide receiver. Everyone playing Montgomery, and we already talked about that situation. I like Mooney and Kmet, only one, but using them even as a one-off here just to be different in your build and get off of Montgomery. And when everyone's waiting for Montgomery to jam it in from the 2-yard line and they throw it to Kmet instead with a flick of the wrist, that's going to piss some people off, but it doesn't have to be you if you use some of him. So Cole Kmet there. Bears, Saints, Patriots. Title, talk to me about defense.
Yeah, so if we're talking, like, if you guys are following what we're saying on this show and stuff, and not really playing Cooper Kupp, not playing as much Jonathan Taylor, fading the really high price guys like that, you're going to have money at tight end this week. And people always hate paying up for tight end. As cash player, I think I maybe paid more than 3K for a tight end once this year or something like that. I think this week's different though, and you can. Patriots just absolutely stand out to me. I mean, they're at home. They get this Jacksonville team that's a complete mess. They have like a 12.5 point total, the Jaguars, which you never see. The Patriots at 3.9K, people are going to want to go Bears 3-2, Colts 2-9, stuff like in that range. I think you find the money, you pay up a little bit. I mean, you're guaranteed pretty much. You hate saying it for defense, but they're like a walking 10 plus right now against this Jaguars team with a ton of upside at defense that can absolutely break the slate. And I don't think too many people are going to do it. They're not going to be 1% or anything like that, but paying up at 3.9 and making a priority, I think taking your free 10 plus with a lot of upside against this Jacksonville team that's a complete mess makes a ton of sense with the Patriots. So I absolutely like that. Yeah, the Bears, the Giants are a complete mess too, 3.2K, but then you start eating some chalk there. I think the Seahawks are interesting, 3.3K. The weather isn't going to be great, as I talked about, which is kind of why I'm avoiding that game. You can get a little correlation, the Rashad Penny, Seattle Seahawks defense, and go that way against a bad Detroit team. So I'll say Patriots, and then the Seahawks are my two favorite defense that I'll be playing.
Yeah, hard not to play the Patriots. Our boy in chat said the same thing. Just Alex, hard not to jam him in. It is Belichick versus a rookie quarterback. Don't forget. So it could be tee-off season, as well as the fact they could literally shut them out. That's what we talked about earlier with the guys like Stevenson or the guy like Harris. If he plays and you want to put him in with the defense, I think that's definitely in play. And then going down the board, there's a lot of other plays that you can put out there, like the Titans and Miami game, I think has some interesting options. If you go down to the Saints look okay, Colts against the Raiders. All these are options for me. AP, talk to me about defense, and then hit us with your off the chalk play of the day. We got to get out of here, but we hit that 300. Yeah. So keep that rolling into the next show. That's the good mojo.
I'll keep it short and sweet again. We're running low on time, but defense was easy. I always try to give a little bit of a ranking before I look at ownership and all that stuff. I had Dallas ranked number one, and then I go to look that they're going to be like less than 1% owned, which is really interesting. You have one of the best defenses in the league right now, especially at creating turnovers, going against what I think is not a very good team in the Cardinals here. I think they just absolutely dust this team. Kyler, I'm not saying he's bad or anything like that, but we've seen him at times to be turnover prone. And this defense, just look at him, 24, 16, 22, 17, last 4 games, DK points. Go back to, not too long ago, 23, 13, 11. Like, this team is just so good at creating turnovers, so good at pick six, scoop and score. So I think the Cowboys get a defensive touchdown here. I think they're going to be, less than 1% owned or less than 2% owned. And I don't know. I thought they were the easier defensive play on the slate. So I like that they're projected to be lower owned. My off the chalk play of the week is Travis Kelce. 5 minutes ago, talked about what he's going to do. I think he's going to absolutely smash this matchup.
Yeah. Same game I'm going with for my off the chalk play of the day. And then I'll kick it to you, Title, so I have it ready. But Joe Mixon. Talked about it already. People are paying up or paying down. I think he really can set the game off early to get it so that we get that back and forth that we want. And that's why I love the game stack there as well. So for me, Joe Mixon at 7,500. Title, what do you got?
Yeah, I was debating a couple guys. At the end of the day, I just couldn't give a Jet as my play of the day because I know I'll be kicking myself at the end of the day. I do like Michael Carter, though, for sure. But I'm going to go with the tight end position, which I think there's a lot of ways to go. I'm going to go right in the mid tier. I like Dalton Schultz right there. I like Ertz in the same game as well, but I'm seeing 2% own Dalton Schultz. They're implied 29 points. He's coming off 220 pieces last 2 games, 8 catches, 67 yards, a touchdown 2 weeks ago, 8 catches, 82 yards, a touchdown last game. There's a lot of weapons there, but I love the passing game there. I think Schultz gets overlooked at 5K. He has 20 plus point upside as he showed the last 2 weeks. So give me Dalton Schultz as my play of the day.
I love it. Completely off the board. The Michael Carter one is good too. So it's a couple from Title there. It was awesome to have you on the show today, Title. AP, always a pleasure, my man. Happy with everybody here. Thank you. We got up over 300 just like we wanted. Bringing in 2022 with the good mojo. We appreciate you. For Title, for AP, and myself. Simon, get us out of here.
What is up, you guys? We are super excited to announce our new partnership with Sabre Sim. For those of you who aren't familiar, Sabre Sim is a DFS optimizer and projection system used by some of the top DFS players in the industry. It provides some of the best ownership and scoring projections on the market, and now you will have a chance to bundle it with an RPS subscription for our low price. BigT, how dope of a deal is this?
This is going to be the best deal in the industry. It's going to get you all the content on the site and the optimizer. So you got a nice price. This also includes the bet side, which we have one of the best bets teams in the industry. Also, the optimizer is going to be accessed directly on the site now. And eventually, we're even going to have the core plays directly on the optimizer within the next couple of weeks. So another really nice bonus.
All right, so why don't you show us how quick you can knock out over 150 lineups using the Sabre Sim optimizer?
Yeah, this optimizer is going to be very nice on the site. Tons of new options. If you want to look at the screen, we got Sabre Sim projections, RPS projections right next to each other. You have options like being able to do the average of both, which is nice. Obviously, I like the Runpure projections, but the Sabre Sim projections are awesome too, and it gives you a nice balance between the two to form some of your own opinions, which I love to do. As you scroll to the right, you got other stuff like ownership projections, which comes from Sabre Sim. Eventually, we might have more of our stuff on the site too, but Sabre Sims are awesome. Gives you another data point when you're building lineups. And then as you work your way to the right, we got the ability to see upside of players. 85th percentile, 99th percentile. You can see the upside of some of these guys. And then just to prove the point, you can build 150 lineups very quickly. Go up here to build lineups. Gives you a bunch of cool options that we'll go through as we start getting used to this and putting content out. But you got GPP, cash, multiplier, satellite option. For this, we're just going to do GPP. I'm going to show you how quick we can make 150 teams. But also, you got single entry in here, 3 max, 20 max. Just a ton of cool options to show you guys as we get going. How many entrants are in the field you're playing, put that in there. Bunch of cool stuff like correlation, ownership, variance with the sims, tons of stuff that you're going to be able to use. I'm going to run 150 teams here and show you guys just how quickly you can run 150 with this optimizer. So as you can see, 150 teams took me about 30 seconds. And once you have more time, you can play around with the numbers, really get them where you want them. But I was just trying to show how convenient it is. You got your optimal team right here. Shows you how much salary you used, projected score, Sabre Sim score, which kind of shows you your upside type thing. Tons of stuff on here. Total ownership, 267%. So a chalky team right there. But again, as we get more comfortable with the system, you'll be able to tinker a lot more. And tons of stuff up here too. If you want to play an upside team, you can click 99th percentile. It's going to run again for you. Give you an upside team here, more upside. Tons of options though. As we get going, we're going to do tons of content. All of our shows are going to be using this. I'm going to be using it personally to build my tournament teams. Super excited to get going with Sabre Sim and get this partnership going to make the content we do even better going forward.
And just a reminder, you can access all the Runpure premium content for all sports, along with Sabre Sim optimizer and projection system for the low monthly price. Don't wait, sign up now, and of course, let's run pure.
Oh, it's the morning wood. We got the big boys here. We got Big T. We got Hoopage. Wonderful to see everybody. Hit the like button. Tambo was right. I mean, you give him the like over us. I don't blame you, but we need some more. So I think the number today is 700. That's going to be nice. Tony, are you sipping? What are you sipping on there? That doesn't seem like just straight grapefruit juice. Is there something in there?
It's not grapefruit juice. It's a little juice, not grapefruit juice though.
No, there's no liquor, no nothing.
Don't worry about it, Holden.
Oh yeah, that's what I like to see. Good boy, Tony. I'm not worried about it. Hoop, what's going on with you, man? What's happening over there?
Not much. Got some snow here, so I was out blowing the snow prior to the show. So that was a lot of fun. The kids now want to go sledding this afternoon, so Sunday sledding. It's going to be tough. Week 17, got a full slate of games. Gotta try to make something happen here. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, it's a good day here. Looking forward to this slate.
I mean, everything's good. Tony has, some type of beverage, some type of libation. You have already snow plowed, snow blown your house. I've got nothing to add to this show whatsoever today. So let me just throw a couple things out here before we get into it. And congratulations on all the money, Tony. In all seriousness. Yeah, thanks. You've won a lot of money lately, and our subscribers have won a lot of money lately, taking the information that you have and the other people here and winning a ton of money. So congratulations on that. And fuck anybody that said mean things to you.
I was fighting some battles over the last week.
I heard
on the old Twitter. There's a lot of people coming after us on there.
Well, that means you're doing something right, buddy. And that's great.
Tiring, though. It's tiring when they all come after you, Holden. Tiring. You got to get in there and win a lot of money to silence them a little bit.
Yeah. We were talking about it, and I went back and I saw some people that were not saying nice things. So again, you know who you are, and you probably watch and stick your head up your butt.
I don't understand what that loser gains by like doing this every so often, like just like trying to like go after, whoever he sees as one of like the top names like in the industry. What is he gaining? He looks
Followers.
like I guess, but I mean, you're the owner of a company. You look like a complete and utter douchebag. Like if you're on the fence, like, okay, I'm going to go with this company or that company, and you see what this guy does, like, how could you ever side with that piece of shit? I mean, just a complete scumbag.
I'm petty too, Holden. So if I see, like, I look at that stuff, and if I see you like liking it and freaking interacting, and I had one or two people slide into my DMs like, why'd you block me? Well, you're in there stroking the dude. If you want to stroke him, you're either with us or you're against us. That's my philosophy. So you're in there stroking him to get a little $20 milli ticket. Go ahead and stroke for a little $20 milli ticket, but I'm going to block you.
I feel like there's a rap song that goes along with that. You're either with us or against us.
Yeah,
there's something in there somewhere for sure. Right? It sounds like a '90s rap song. I'm sure like all of them said that at some point. But
I apologize.
I agree with that though. Fuck that guy.
Everybody that had to listen to Hoop try to rap.
Oh, you hate his stories and his raps?
I mean, that was
tough scene.
That was bad, man.
It wasn't like trying to. I'm not.
Oh, you weren't? Okay.
Although my daughter did get a karaoke machine for Christmas, and I have been dabbling. So you never know. Maybe I'll dig up that.
Really?
Maybe I'll dig up that rap song with those lyrics on the karaoke machine and get a little performance here before we go out.
What have you been singing on the karaoke machine? That's a great gift.
Olivia Rodrigo, Ed Sheeran.
Don't know who that is either.
Yes, you do. You know the song. And you've heard the songs. It's like I
got to tell you, man, I haven't. Basically, I play monkey poop songs for my kids when they're in the car, and I listen to 90s rap and classic rock. So, I'm a little old. Yeah.
You know Ed Sheeran, though, right? No? Really? No? Red-haired guy. I think he's European.
I don't like red-haired guys. I'm sorry if you're watching the show and you're a ginger. Dye your freaking hair and get a tan, man. It's just weird.
I realize you're talking to Big T right now.
He's got red hair.
I got red hair. I don't know if it's on my face.
Well, we can't have you laughing too hard. You're fresh off a procedure.
We're gonna lose our host.
It's the no workbench. So that's good. We got a pissed off Tony. I think this is good. Everybody's coming at him. This is what
Tony looks to be in like not a good mood today either. So this is not good. This is not good.
I wasn't able to. I was supposed to get that root canal fixed, and then I still was sick, so I wasn't able. It's been a rough week for me.
You got a root canal coming up? That's the worst.
Well, it's even worse though when it was supposed to happen, and then I couldn't go because I was sick, and then it's been hurting.
Tony's got an ongoing appointment at the dentist. If you don't know, every 2 weeks he's in for something.
Every 2 months.
The dentist is the worst. Like there's no doctor. I'd rather have a finger in my butt from the proctologist than
I would too, guaranteed.
Yeah, sign me up for that for sure.
Yeah. I'd rather do literally anything, well, almost anything, than go to the dentist.
Yeah, it's bad. There's nothing. There's very few things that are worse than that.
I actually want to go right now though, because it freaking hurts. So I need to suck it up and go this week.
Yeah, I'm not popping a stitch, guys. Everything's fine. It's the walking and the getting up. Everything besides for that, I could laugh my ass off. We're good. We're feeling good today. We got the mojo going. So let me tell people what's going on, and then we'll get into the weather, and we'll get into the inactives, and we'll get into the games, and we'll help you try and win some money today. But members obviously never win here. Now I'm going to start with two guys that are not members. They're the heads of their departments here. And Dunkel, JJ over on the bet side wins 40K, and Tony wins 150K. So that was pretty good. But let's get to a couple of our subscribers that hit big. And this doesn't include like the $1,000, $5,000, $8,000 hits. Like we've had the monster hits here. Members win almost $2 million last week. We had Quick on the Cribs, 24K in the NFL. Twerich went 35K.
Real quick. We were trying to figure out like the meaning behind Quick on the Cribs on the show. I believe it was the NBA show last week. And I said
premature ejaculation.
Huh?
Premature.
You think? See, here's what I was thinking, and tell me your thoughts because I'm curious. So I came to the conclusion that he was a real estate agent, flipping cribs quick onto cribs, like he's selling the cribs quickly.
Oh, I thought that guys like Ed Sheeran would come out and say that cribs was like the new bed or something like that. So I thought he was like quick.
Well, I mean, isn't it a crib a house, right? Unless it's changed. I mean, the lingo could have changed.
I'm going with Holden's explanation.
Yeah.
You don't think a realtor?
I would have never guessed what Holden just said, but now that he said it, I'm going with Holden's explanation.
All right. Our buddy D-Rock won 24K in the NBA. Tony won another 100K. Actually, I have to congratulate you more because I congratulate you only on the 6-figure plus wins, you and Hoop. And then Joseph Schwartz. Way to go, Joseph Schwartz. 215K in the NFL. So that's what we got going on right now. Like button. We're going for 700 today. Poor Big T. The dude has to go to the dentist, so he deserves a like for that. Hoop, master snowblower, like for that. Let's go. Let's get going here. I'm not too worried about too much weather, guys, but outside of Buffalo, where I think that the offense is probably going to get a little bit of a boost because I love it when snow is there. It should get flurries, maybe an inch during the game. I don't think the field is going to be unplayable, but to me, a big bump to the offensive players in this game because the defensive players have to react. So I think, guys like Singletary, I'm a big Gabe Davis guy today. Even Josh Allen, I think those guys could have a big boost there. And then you already knew that it was going to happen, but it's official now. Carson Wentz is playing today. So that is what's going on with the news. So let's get some broad thoughts on this slate here, Tony. 14 games, man. A little different with a 14 gamer. No Thursday, no Saturday, no nothing. Talk to me here.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to get even more upside in tournaments than usual. 14 games, plenty of value. You're just going to have to chase upside in tournaments without a doubt. I mean, 14 games is definitely not my favorite. I like the much shorter slates, but we'll grind through it, find some winners, see what we can come up with. It's weird that we have another week too with week, what is it? Week 17, right? Week 18 is the last week now. It's weird though, having another week. I mean, we're already in January and we got another week. So pretty nice, actually.
Yeah, I love it. Everybody's, we don't need another game. Everybody's, why do you want less football? Come on, give me a break. Hoopage, let's go, man. 14 games today. Plan of attack. What is it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit different. We haven't had this big of a slate since, I don't know, probably like week 1, 2, or 3. No Thursday game. It could be the biggest slate of the season so far. Makes it a little more difficult for sure. I mean, you really got to hone in on your spots, and you can't get it. I know a lot of people joke and say, 10% of this guy, 10% of that guy. You're not going to be able to get 10% of everyone today. So you really are forced to take some stands. Kind of similar to last week for me, where running back it's pretty loaded position. I think there's like 7 really, really good plays that we'll talk about. Wide receivers more up in the air, which I think is probably good for tournament people. I mean, who's going to be popular at wide receiver. And then I think like everyone else is going to be pretty unpopular, lowish owned. So it's a good slate. I'm definitely looking forward to it. A lot of different ways to go.
A couple things guys keep bringing up. It's going to be so cold with the Packers. They're not on the slate today, guys. So that's the first thing. The second thing, hit the like button. And the third thing is we're going to get into this. Oh, you know what? I want to read Ryan Downs here because here's the thing that he said. I steal information from you guys for free, but you make the game harder because I used to make a cash lineup coming down from acid, snorting a line after drinking for 48 hours. So my sense is that you just go back to doing the alcohol and the drugs. and continuing to listen to or watch us and hit the like button. Okay. I mean, I think that's a great way to build cash lineups. And I'm sure that you have paid the rake for many a person here at Runpure. So thank you for that. Oh, Tambo's score just went up too. I like Tambo's score. People. If you're not a subscriber, runpuresports.com. Tony, let's start here. We're going to go Atlanta.
Did Tambo make that, or did AP? AP must have done some convincing during that. AP must have done some convincing during that last show. Not to give it away, but
I laugh every single week at it when AP has his play of the week. I laugh every single time.
It's just AP's.
There's only been 1 week I haven't laughed.
I mean, it has hit a couple times, hasn't it?
No shit. If you say Travis Kelce or Tyreek Hill every week, I mean you're gonna have decent success.
Okay, I see what he's doing.
There is something to be said. I said this about baseball every year, and I should do it this year because if you just stack the Yankees every day or something, I'm just using the Yankees as an example. It could be a low-owned team too. If you just do it every day, would you make money at the end of the? You might, because then you don't ever miss when they go off.
You know what?
I don't think it's the worst idea.
You just reminded me because the last 3 years I've been playing a Chiefs, Mahomes, Tyreek, and Kelce stack, and it's gone off 1 or 2 times a year.
Yeah.
And I stopped doing it this year after their slow start. So maybe it's time to get back on the train.
Maybe it's this week, Holden.
Maybe it is this. Maybe this is the week to go. You know what? Let's just start with that game then, Tony. In your backyard, how's things feeling here? Chiefs and Cincinnati. So there's a high total. We're sitting at 51. People are expecting points. So my question for you is, are you expecting points in this game?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be tough. If the game stays close, it's going to be tough for there not to be points, in my opinion. I mean, they got to score with all this talent. I mean, you got Tyreek, Kelce, Darrell Williams. You got obviously all the Bengals guys. Joe Mixon has a nice projection. Joe Mixon should be really low owned today too in a game like this. I don't know. Yeah, I can't disagree with really anything. The prices are fair. I don't see anyone that – I mean, I guess Jamar Chase's price looks a little weird being – I guess it's not the highest. I was thinking it was the highest, but second highest. I don't know, though. All these guys are good plays. You can game stack it. You can play just pieces from it. I don't know how heavy I'm going to be on it, but I do like it. And my favorite play would probably be Tyreek. Last week, I know we keep talking about this on the shows, but when we don't think COVID has a massive impact on stuff, but we've seen it a few times now where guys come back and they get winded. Like I saw it with Debo the one night. Tyreek admitted it last week that he was winded. And now we get the Kelce factor where he's a little more recent than these guys. Although I saw him at the football game a few nights ago at whatever it was, the Cotton Bowl or whatever game he was at with Mahomes. But I don't know. I get a little cautious with these guys. So Kelce would be the guy I'd be lowest on. I'm not going to fade him. I like this game, but you can't play everyone in the game. They're expensive. I'll choose Tyreek over Kelce just because of that little bit of maybe it matters, maybe it doesn't, but that'll be my tiebreaker.
Well, you know what? We're very transparent here. My Kendrick Bourne call last week was total shit. And I went back and he was coming off the COVID list.
Yeah.
And in all seriousness, we've got enough data now.
It's proven to happen a bunch.
A lot of these guys are struggling off the COVID list, Hoop. So I see that. I don't know what to make of Kelce, whether or not I want to fade him for that or not, but there really is something to it.
Yeah. I mean, obviously you guys know my opinion. I'm not going to go Dr. Hoopchi on you guys here, but I think it's more just breaking the routine, and they're probably not in there for all the meetings, and it's just a different routine, different structure, different schedule, and they're just more out of sync leading up to the week of the return where they play, opposed to a full week of being there with the team and whatnot. So yeah, I mean we have seen it, but I mean Kendrick Bourne just isn't very good, so that's a different situation.
You had a good run, Holden. There was a bunch of good ones along the way.
Back, Coop.
I warned you, man. Back. I warned you. Mid-show play of the day. I mean, you can't whiff on it. Last time it happened on this show, we all remember, right?
Why is that jersey not on?
We all remember.
That puppy
I just was out there fucking plowing snow, and I'm not wearing
should have been plowing in that thing.
I'm not plowing in the Renfro, all right? I'm putting it on though now.
I don't know. Maybe I should throw out a mid-show play again this week.
You need to redeem yourself.
There we go.
Those have to be sacred events, though, on this show. A mid-show play of the day. You
know what? Go back to Kendrick Bourne. Fuck it.
Back to back.
God, don't go back to Kendrick Bourne, please.
Stop.
Yeah, you're going to force you. But the problem is when you do these plays of the day, like you're forcing these guys into Big T's lineups, and we can't.
I'm not doing it.
We can't jeopardize the Big T heater.
I did play a bunch of board because too. I played like 30% or something.
Listen, it's probably worked out more than it hasn't.
It has, and I've given you credit all year, so I got to make fun of you when you miss one too.
Don't do it today. You know what? Stay off of Holden. I've been in another universe this whole week, man.
That might be more reason for me to get on with you. What do you mean?
Maybe you're seeing things from the future. You know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, maybe you're right. You're probably not, but maybe you're right here, buddy. Okay, so we're done with this game. Do we want to do anything else with this game, or are we done with it, Hoop?
Daryl, I didn't really talk about it, but you
didn't even ask Hoop about it.
I agree with Tony. Like between Kelsey and Hill, I want Tyreek. I actually like Tyreek quite a bit. I mean, wide receiver, I was kind of struggling at this week, trying to figure out where I wanted to go. But like Kelsey makes a ton of sense coming off that dud last week, and it was simple. Like they just didn't need him in that game. They got out to that big lead, and it was over. I mean, they completely. Who was it? The Steelers, right? I mean, just completely dusted the Steelers. They had no chance. This week, though, I think the Bengals are a good football team, and they've proven that all season long. I think we could see a back and forth here. And really, I agree with the plays that both of you brought up. Like Joe Mixon, I said like 7 or 8 really good running back plays. He's going to be like virtually unowned. And it's like kind of similar to the Yankees analogy. If you just played like Joe Mixon every week this season, probably did pretty well because he's had some GPP winning performances on multiple slates this year. So I like Mixon. Like there's a lot of different ways you can go with this game. You got all those wide receivers for the Bengals. You got the cheap tight end in Uzoma, who probably going to be low owned, especially on D. Well, not low owned, but lower owned on DK because we have like a full punt tight end that we can talk about. And then on the Chiefs side, I really like Darrell Williams. I mean, I think this Edwards-Helaire being out forces them to pass the ball a little bit more, which is good for Williams. He can catch a lot of balls out of the backfield. He has that connection with Mahomes. Tyreek, I think it's a good bounce back spot for him. So I'll be high on Tyreek. But, really this game is dependent on the game flow. And, do the Chiefs get out to a big lead? If so, they're willing to just muddy things up and grind out victories nowadays, which is different from the past. If it stays close, which I think it does, we can get it back and forth here, which is obviously what you're looking for DFS. And on a slate where there's a lot of low totals too. This is the only one over 50 Cowboys game too? Yeah. So 2 games over 50. This is one of them. Could definitely go big.
Yeah, I'm excited about this one. This will be on the big TV today. It should be playoff atmosphere. So that's the first game we get to. Hit the like button. We're looking for 700 today. Let's go. Let's get strong. Let's go have a nice let's go have a nice day. 901 watching already. Usually we're around 800 at the start of the show. So we already got a big viewership. So let's go. And I will have Kendrick Bourne in one lineup today, but that is not a. It's not a. It's a spite you play.
You got to come back with them. Yeah, it's a spite. It's a spite call.
Well, you and JSU always do spite. You know what? And Hoop too.
If a guy lets me down, it's very hard for me not to come back with them because they piss me off. So you got to come.
All you guys are spite plays. The other thing, I did say Damian Harris, but no, it was Kendrick Bourne was the play. So
you're talking to a guy that played Robbie Anderson for like the first 7 weeks of the season. Like, yeah,
I played. What's the dude I played? Who's the
Jacoby Myers?
He still hasn't scored, I don't think, has he?
He still hasn't scored.
Yeah. No, it was the same week. Remember when Holding got out the shovel? It was the week Holding got out the shovel, buried our guys. They both found the box.
Oh man.
Yeah, there was another great week. Thanks, Hoop, you asshole.
just bring back memories. It's a first show of 2022. It's like, all the shows do their 2021 recaps. Like, we can't forget about what happened last year.
No, you can't. You're right. And
we should do one of those shows this week. Like, get Simon to find like all the best clips from 21.
That would be funny.
People would love that.
Oh yeah, the best of Runpure Sports.
Yeah.
One thing we do need to work on, though, with me and Big T were talking about, which is super disappointing. Like, such great mojo and momentum, like on this YouTube channel. So many great free shows. This subscription number is just like disappointing the hell out of us. Like, if you're watching the show, the subscription number on this channel needs to grow. So please just hit the subscription button. If you don't want the notifications, turn them off. But hit the subscription button. The little red box, bottom right corner under Holden's mug. Just hit it. Please.
You had me nervous for a second. I thought our sub number was down. I'm like, oh shit, we got 2 more weeks of this. But I got a little message that our subs are doing really well.
No, the subscription just on the YouTube channel.
Right. You scared me though. I'm like,
no, the other thing's doing great. I mean,
I know.
How could it not be doing great? Everyone just prints money over there.
We're all excited about it. Yeah, this has just been terrific. All right, let's move on to our second game here. Hoop, we'll start with you on game number 2, Atlanta and Buffalo. Like, I like this. I know that people are going to stay on. I love Buffalo today. What do you want to do with Josh Allen? What do you want to do with Singletary, who's coming along? Beasley's back. Gabe Davis is getting a bigger role lately. You can play Diggs, Dawson Knox on the other side. This could be a nice game for Russell Gage, Kyle Pitts. Lee Smith is going to be at 2,500. He's going to be in there at tight end. So give it to me. What do we got, Hoop?
Yeah, I'm going to be off the Falcons side altogether. I get the Gage thing, but it's just not going to be for me today. Going to Buffalo with some weather, it just seems like a brutal spot. Buffalo needs to win here. Can easily just pound this team. So I'll be fading the Falcons, but on the Bills side, I do have some plays. Like, I think Josh Allen is great for tournaments, and we have a really cheap quarterback that's going to be very popular this week. And all that does is bring down the ownership on a guy like Josh Allen. Slate winning upside for sure, especially in this spot. I mean, they should be able to pound him. And I agree with your point in the opening, which, with the weather here and the snow, a lot of times people say, okay, that's bad for the offense. Like, you look at the games and they always score. But what was the last one? The Seahawks game, they scored like 50 some points. Like, these games where there's snow, they typically score because, yes, like you said, the offense knows where they're going. The defense doesn't. They're the ones that need to react to what the offense does. And it's just an advantage for the offenses. I think Buffalo could roll here. I hope Emmanuel Sanders is out because Gabe Davis is, I think, a phenomenal play. Either way, I like Gabe Davis. But if Sanders is out, big boost to a guy like Gabe Davis. Singletary, I think, is actually a really good play. Been getting, he got 6 targets last week, 7 2 weeks ago. So we're looking at upper teens in terms of touches for Devin Singletary. They're 14-point favorites here. I think he could easily find the box, get some receptions, have a big game here. Diggs, I think, is a fine tournament play. Wide receiver is pretty wide open this week. There's a couple guys that will be very popular, but outside of those couple guys, I think ownership is pretty spread out. So give me Stephon Diggs. I want to be overweight. Dawson Knox too. I want to be overweight on every piece of the Bills offense today. And I don't think it's going to be all that hard to do.
All right. I like it a lot. I love it. And here's the other thing, reading the beat writers there, especially Bisaglia, the Bills beat writer. If Sanders plays, Gabe Davis may have already taken his job. So they love him.
Davis is good. And like red zone target. I mean, you're not talking just like a possession guy. Like, seems to be the number 1 target in the red zone for Josh Allen.
I think everybody's going back to McKenzie, and I think that's a mistake. And Gabe Davis is not alled to be your play of the day.
No one's going back to McKenzie.
You don't think so?
No.
Okay,
not
good.
with these guys back. His price isn't minimum anymore either, is it?
He went ballistic. What do you got, Tony? What do you think about this game?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with Hoop. I mean, everyone's going to play the cheap quarterback. This is when we pivot up. Buffalo is one of those teams, too, that they just pile it on. If we can get Atlanta to do anything, like if Atlanta can get to like 17 even, like Buffalo could score into the 40s. I worry a little about Atlanta, but yeah, Buffalo piles it on. Worst case scenario, you still get a good floor with these guys where they score 28 or something. I mean, a really good floor with these guys. It looks a little snowy too in Buffalo, which I actually like for these Buffalo guys. They're used to that. Atlanta's not going to want to play in that. So easy touchdowns. I love it. Yeah, I mean, you got Diggs, Knox, Gabe. Play two of them with Josh Allen. Singletary, I would only play him probably in non Josh Allen teams, but I don't know. Running back's good this week. I don't know if I'm going to play much. He has looked good, though. He's looked pretty good these last 3 weeks. I just don't know. I really like running back, so I don't know if I'll go there much. Unless I just don't play any of the passing game. Maybe I play him in some spots. But, yeah, I love the passing game. So, for me, it's just a matter of who – I still have to play someone from Atlanta, especially in a 14-game slate. But I think you got two guys you can play that are pretty good, even if Atlanta doesn't score much. Gage has looked pretty good the last couple weeks. I mean, where's his numbers? Let me pull these up.
Hey, listen, man. Yeah. This guy, Gage, like anytime he's playing man, you just fire him up.
And is he playing man today?
Let's play a lot of man.
Don't get me – last week you got me excited, Holden. Don't get me excited again right out of the gate.
This is not a play of the day. This is a fact. This is a fact.
I mean, but so look at his stuff. I mean, this is the last 6 weeks, 8 for 49, 7 for 62, 12, the targets I'm talking about, 12 for 130, 6 for 64, 12, 91, 539. I mean, he's been really good. Perfect run back. He's only 5,600, and you got Pitts too that you could throw in there too, who's always an option at 5,900. So yeah, I'm definitely in on this game, and it's a great pivot off of a lot of chalky, cheap options at the quarterback. Because Josh Allen, when he gets 40, those cheap quarterbacks are in trouble. I got news for you.
Yeah. And don't forget Tre'Davious White's still out too. You know, the Bills have been without their top corner for a little bit now. So, you know, Hoop, not on the Russell Gage train, right, Hoop? So stay away from Russell Gage. Is the ceiling just not there for you?
It's a 15 total for Atlanta. It's a full slate. And I'm not doing a full 150. Like if you're doing 150, the strategy might be a little bit different where you want the run back. And we saw the Millie winner last week. It had 4 Bengals and then one Ravens guy and Mark Andrews. So yeah, but we've seen it go the other way too, where you don't need the run back. So I'm more open to not having a run back, even in like the large field contest. But it might be, like Tony said, it might be hard on a 14-game slate to not have the run back. So I don't know. I could go either way with it. I'm fine though. I guess overall my main point is I'm fine playing Bills without a run back.
Okay, very good. Like button would be great. Give us a thumbs up. That's terrific. Also. I don't know what else to say, Hoop. Is there anything else I should be plugging here? You want to talk about Sabre Sim again?
We have some big upgrades to Sabre Sim coming either this week or next week. Like we've talked about in all our shows, we're going to have some videos here breaking down specific features of Sabre Sim on our channel. But the big thing to look out for really is the integration here with Sabre Sim, where a lot of our content is going to be just right on the Sabre Sim optimizer. You want to take, Big T's core plays and play a few of those in all your lineups. You're going to be able to do that with 1, maybe 2 clicks of a button. So yeah, big feature upgrades to Sabre Sim right on our website here within the next couple of weeks, which is exciting.
Couple of questions about my hoodie, but I got a question for you, Big T, because Mamba wants to know when our hoodies are going on sale in the store. We got the stuff up now?
Well, I think we have the normal stuffs in the store. The premium stuff, we did order a few extras, so we'll have some stuff to give away or sell and some stuff. We can't open the whole thing up, or there's too much. So we have to figure that part out later on. But we'll have some options for a few of the nice hoodies coming whenever we get them in. These days, who knows when all that gear is coming in, though.
Yeah, that's supply chain, right? Yeah, that's what we're doing. We don't need to talk about supply chain, though. That's boring shit. Let's go, Big T. Jacksonville, New England. How do you stay off of Damian Harris again in this one? Tell me, even if it's a blowout. So maybe people go Ramondre at 5.3 on DK for that. But, dude, Damian Harris has just been rolling. And I wonder what your thoughts are on him. And is there anybody you really want to mess with? And does New England really have a team total of 29? Like, how does this offense have a team total of 29? I think there's going to be some points here, but 29 is a lot, Tony.
Yeah, I think just Jacksonville has quit. I mean, we talk about this every year, and they just they're not giving a whole lot of effort, I don't think. In New England, this is the type of game I think they just roll. I mean, just crush them, which is one of the reasons I don't like Damian Harris as much. I think they'll give all three of these backs some work. I think he's got a great floor. I think he's super safe play. I just don't know if he has a monster ceiling in a game where Stevenson should be back. I don't know. I don't see it. This game, 14-game slate, blowout spot. I could play New England's D for sure. I'm not going to play any offensive pieces here.
No. Zippy, what do you got here? Hoop.
Yeah, I mean, Patriots defense, that's it. I mean, in this spot, yeah, okay, Damian Harris could easily go for 120 and 3 touchdowns, but I'm going to bank on the fact that they're going to get all these guys some work. I mean, they're 17-point favorites here. They should just be able to absolutely roll. So just the Patriots defense for me.
McLongrod reminds me, thank you. This is how awesome our community is. First of all I'm seeing during the week is dudes giving away tickets. Didn't AP just like give away a ton of, like, he gave away something humongous? Was it?
There were so many tickets in there. Yeah. AP gave 255.
I mean, and then our subscribers are giving stuff out. And then McLongrod's like, remember about the Tournament of Champions. Guys, subscribers, free money. Like, you just sign up, get into the Tournament of Champions. It's a link to the playbook, right? Hoop, is that at the top of your playbook?
Yeah, it's on the top of all our NFL content. There's a link to it. So yeah, just got to get in order to win the prizes. You need to be a member. It's the only real stipulation.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So Tournament of Champions, get in there. Let's get to our fourth game of the day, Philadelphia and Washington. I don't know, Hoop. Is there anything you want to mess with? Looks like Jordan Howard's back, kind of muddies up the whole running back situation there. Maybe Hurts. This is disgusting to me. I want nothing to do with it. How about you?
Yeah, the only spot of interest, Antonio Gibson's out, but man, there's so many good running backs. I just don't think that this is a week to get cute at running back, and you don't need to. There's like 7 or 8 really good running back plays. You can get your leverage at wide receiver. So I'm not going to mess around with any of those Washington running backs. The team has been pretty much a disaster. The only play for me in this game is going to be Dallas Goedert at tight end. Hurts. I mean, I don't see the need to play Hurts here. You have Trey Lance, who's basically Hurts at a much cheaper price tag. So it's just going to be Goddard for me in this game, and that's it.
We got Tony, Philly, Washington.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Huge slate. We got to just eliminate some of these. Washington, yeah, dude's out, but Philly's playing good. Washington, I mean, what is the spread in this game, Holden? Has it moved?
I haven't seen him. Well, Heineke's in today. That's going to be kind of gross.
How are they not favored by more, though?
I've seen it. What is it? 4.5 to 6
right now on DK.
Yeah, it went 4.5 to 6. So
it's got to be. They got to win by more than 7. I don't know. Like Washington sucks. Yeah, I like Philly. DFS wise, though, I don't see anything here.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people are on the Eagles. You're right. So it moved 1.5, and I think I wouldn't be surprised 6.5, 7. But yes, that's it for that game. 14 games or some games you could just cross off.
I should say, just to say, because I always say it, Philly's been the worst team all year against the tight end. What are these Washington? How much is Seals Jones is only 3,300. So I'll actually leave him in my player pool. I always forget about Philly till I say I don't like anyone. Mm-hmm. They've been awful against tight ends. So I'll put Seals Jones in my 150 player pool. I forgot about that.
Okay. 150, Ricky Seals Jones. Lock him in there. Tampa Bay and the Jets. So, Tony, I kind of like a little bit in this game. Ronald Jones obviously going to be chalk, so talk to me about there. Mike Evans is going to play, but he's going to be limited, and they're probably going to reduce his snap share too. Antonio Brown, he needs to hit all these incentives. We know Tom Brady has a hard-on for him. I honestly Would not be surprised if Antonio Brown is in a three-way with Tom Brady and Giselle. What do you think, Hoop? What are the chances of that?
Not out of the realm of possibilities. I mean, there is something weird going with Tom Brady's section. I mean, the kiss with the kid still has me like traumatized. Remember that? He's on the massage table and the kid came over and gave him the pack, and then he like called him back and said like he wanted more than just a pack. There could be something going there. I love Tom Brady, probably the best quarterback of all time, but I would not be surprised if Antonio Brown has worked his way into that onto the bench, I guess.
Have you ever seen Eyes Wide Shut? It was Nicole Kidman and
a while ago, probably. Yeah.
I feel like Tom Brady and Giselle are at those parties during the off season, and I feel like Antonio probably snuck in there.
Yeah, I think he found a way onto the bench. Yes.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, and I like him. How do you not love Antonio Brown? How do you not love Rob Gronkowski this week? I mean, the Jets, there is nobody worse than the Jets at covering the tight end. Nobody. So, you know what, Hoop? We already talked about three ways. Let's get to you first on this game.
Antonio Brown's price on DK is just bad. I mean, 6.1K, he's going to be very, very popular. Looked great last week. I'm not worried about the ankle thing. I think it was just more of like a day off. Like you said, Tom Brady loves this guy, and the incentives, there's some speculation going around that Antonio Brown really needs this money, so they're gonna force it to him. I'm kind of buying into that, but overall I think this could just be a coast game for the Bucs, which scares me a little bit. Aren't they pretty locked into where they're going to be in the playoffs? I mean, do they need they don't have a ton they're not going to pass the Packers, right? So I don't know. I could see this just being a coast game for them. I do like Antonio Brown. I do like Ronald Jones, but I could see like a lot of different guys getting work in this game. I'm not going to play Gronk here. I get the matchups great, but I just don't see them they got Cameron Brate was getting a lot of looks last week. Like, that's not great for Gronk. Antonio Brown and Ronald Jones are probably the only two guys that I'm playing for the Bucs. And then on the Jets side, Braxton Berrios is going to be popular. He has a good prop. Like, his prop is sitting at right around 50 yards. He's 3.7K. I think that he's one of those guys, though, they talked about on the previous show, like where you probably just don't play this guy in tournaments. You probably find another cheap wide receiver because he's going to be pretty popular in this cheapish range. But in cash games, he's a fine play at 3.7K. They just don't have guys. His position is not necessarily how you beat the Bucs, but it's, where their vulnerability is. So fine with Berrios, probably would be underweight in tournaments. Antonio Brown, it's not a good price on DK. 6.1K is a missed price. And then Ronald Jones, I think it's a fine option at running back.
It's just nothing to do with Gronk, though. Just throw him out there.
I'm not going to. I honestly don't like him all that much this week. I mean, a lot of looks to Brate. I just don't see him forcing it this week.
Trent Griffith. This is my 17th week of listening to the show, and damn it, Holden, you convinced me on signing up right now. Beautiful, Trent. You know what? I got a couple of 25-cent tickets for DraftKings, so you're getting an extra. Just make sure you hit me up, and you might get one. Tony, let's do it. The Bucs. You liking any Bucs this week?
Yeah, I mean, versus the Jets, you always got to like them. But I'm confused though. So my flow chart that I use has the Jets as one of the best teams against tight end. They according to fantasy points, they're way down there.
Yeah,
so
DVOA, they're the worst. Fantasy points, you could say they're the best. DVOA, they're the worst. Mike Evans not going to be in there. It's going to be the Brown.
How can the DVOA and the fantasy points be that far off?
I don't know.
That's weird.
Telling you, buddy.
Because they're like literally, they're with Buffalo and like some of the better teams is at the top, like way on the opposite side of the. So where's Philadelphia on that?
I don't know. I don't have it up right now.
You probably looked at it wrong.
Yeah. You think so? You think
probably? I don't know how they could be that far off.
Somebody out there that has the time, go look up the DVOA versus tight ends. Tell me if I looked at it.
It's just crazy. I'm like legit. I'm not like trolling. I'm legitimately wondering like how it doesn't relate more.
No, that's fine. I'm not. Hey,
listen. I mean, it could have something to do with the Jets just getting pounded
by everybody.
Everybody, and no one having to pass the football against. I mean,
could
I don't
be.
know.
It's just it's freaking. Well, either way, I'm not playing Gronk though. I agree.
I've been wasted on on a lot of stuff this week. So, and I got him. I
mean, it is the Jets, so I'm not saying they're like
I got Gronk 26th against adjusted fantasy points against the tight end. So, we can agree or disagree on it. It don't matter.
Could be too, where it's like they spread it around to multiple tight ends because everyone gets theirs. Because this is just based on like one player, not the overall team.
Got it.
So, yeah,
got it.
Whatever.
What do you want to do?
I don't like Gronk either way. I agree with Hoop. Like, they're not going to pound Gronk in a game versus the Jets. It's just not going to happen. Ronald Jones could be solid. I worry a little bit about Ronald Jones too because of what Hoop said. They don't have much depth at running back right now, right? How is Lenny out for the year or just the regular season?
Regular season.
Just regular season. And I will say, watching that game last week, he had at least one drop, maybe two, on these little dump offs, and Brady was not happy. So I feel like in passing downs, like if they could get someone else in there to catch the ball, that's what they're going to do. Like, he was visibly pissed.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they did give Keyshawn Vaughn a little bit of extra work today. And yeah, I mean, sure, Ronald Jones is fine. He could easily break the slate. He's facing the Jets, the worst team in football. But I play tournaments. I have a hard time putting him in there. I do. If he beats, there's tons of good running back plays. Like, if you guaranteed me he'd play the whole game, I'd have him on every team. He would crush. 100%.
He's the best play on the slate. If you think he's playing every snap today, he's the best running back play on the slate.
And by a mile too, 63. I just don't. Why would they? When they're up 27-6 in the second half, I just don't think they're going to keep pounding him. I just don't. I refuse to believe it. So I'm going to be underweight on him. I probably won't full fade him just in case he does get all the work and goes for 35 or 40 or something. AB, they're talking about getting him whatever he needs for this bonus. You got to like AB. I don't even know why they're playing Mike Evans today. Let him come back healthy. They don't even say worst case scenario, they somehow lost to the Jets. It doesn't even impact them at all. So I don't know why they're risking injury. I would never play Mike Evans in this spot. So yeah, it's just really AB, a little bit of Ronald Jones, and definitely the Bucs defense against this Jets team.
I mean, Mike Evans at this point, yeah, you're right. Like, they run him out there. What is he even playing for? Does he get 2 targets, 3 targets? I mean,
the only thing you could say is he's going to be very low owned against the Jets. That's about it. Like, if I played Brady in a tournament, maybe you rolled the dice or something and just hope he gets touchdowns, but I don't think he's a good play for sure.
No, I'm with you. Yeah, Hoop, like, seriously, let's talk about Mike Evans just for a second. If anybody was thinking about a dart throw with this guy, he might not even get targeted, right?
It almost seems like even a situation where he's just in, like, on red zone plays if the game's close. I mean, if they're coming out and saying he's going to be he's playing in a limited fashion, like, it's a 14-game slate. Like, do you really want to be playing guys that are – and we've seen it a ton this season where they come out and say guys limited and, like, he barely touches the field. Not with the Bucs. I'm just saying in general. We've had these situations pop up. I have no interest. Like, I don't know what his path is to breaking the slate, but, like, can you play him over, like, those Bengals wide receivers? Like, hell no, you can't. So I'll just fade.
Okay. This is just, I'm seeing there's a great question here about Carson Wentz. And I just want you to know, Carson Wentz guy, we will get to the Carson Wentz game. And I think we got 2 more from right now. We got guys giving out their cores. I mean, this is a crazy week 17. People are they're feeling cocky. I love it. I love it. Maybe this is the week when really everything, all hell breaks loose. And the subs.
We've had a ton of shippers in football, but we've got this on our on our block here at Runpure, where we haven't fully just got the Maniaca on a Sunday between the staff and the crew.
The Maniaca,
we had some big hits. We've had members even win $500K, and a Showdown. We've definitely smashed some Showdowns, but main slate Sundays. We really haven't got the Maniaca yet. Maybe this will be our week.
I like that word. I've never
heard of it. I never used the word Maniaca on here. I like the
Nope.
So we used to always say in poker, like when you're holding it and they don't know you got it, you say, I got the Maniaca.
Yeah, we're getting the Maniaca today. I like that.
I like that too. I like that you guys like that. That's good mojo.
Maniaca, that's very. I love that's a solid word.
Yeah,
Maniaca,
I get it.
We can't forget that one.
Yeah, Maniaca this shit up today. Hoop, we're trying to get to 700 likes. We're at 524. Anything to say here with 1,100 watching? Another huge audience for late in the season. Whew.
I mean, keep the momentum going. I mean, it's first full NFL slate of 2022. We plan on being at the top of leaderboards. You're going to see a lot of RPS at the top. And if you don't hit that like, you're not going to be a part of the party tonight. So make sure you hit that like button. Let's get this momentum. We want the full Minyaka today. All right. We're not going for like min caches. We want Minyaka. All right. So like button for more Minyaka.
Yeah.
The wife loves it when I give her the Minyaka.
Have you ever said Minyaka? Because I mean,
I always used to say it in poker days. Yeah.
Oh, no.
We're taking Minyaka to the top of DFS leaderboards and to the workbench.
Everyone loves. I didn't realize everyone would love Minyaka so much.
Yeah. Well, I heard
it's the best too when you win. Like when you got the best team today and you just get on there and say, I got the damn Minyaka. It just feels good.
Bitches.
It was love at first sight for me. As soon as that came out of your mouth, I mean, I was six to midi right there for sure.
You should have been. And if anybody's smart enough, you get there, you go with that Minyaka play. Right. I don't remember.
This could potentially change the workbench play of the day, the name. I mean, the workbench play of the day was the original. We might have to look to change this to the Minyaka play of the day.
Listen,
I like that.
All right. So
you guys are getting me excited here.
Will it be the Minyaka today? Can we get that?
Yes.
I gotta remember.
At least for one day. We'll have to think about it, but at least for today, workbench is going to the side.
What does it matter how you spell it, people? It doesn't matter. Spell it however you want to spell it.
That was Simon. That wasn't a person. That wasn't that was our own producer asking.
Simon said, yeah,
because he's trying to make a graphic, probably.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Simon wrote that?
Yeah. What do you think?
I mean, spell it however the hell you want to spell it. I don't know.
I feel like there should be a J in there.
The word's made up. I don't know. Spell it however you want to spell it.
According to Tambo, there is a word in the dictionary. It's Minyaka, starch made by leaching and drying.
Starching. You're going to starch people. Exactly.
That's Canada. Get out of here.
It's a staple food in the tropics. Okay, long story short.
Minjaca. I want the J to be a Y.
We need a Y. We need a Y in there, man.
What?
Like you need a Y. That brings the whole word together. The Y.
Yeah. What'd you guys do for New Year's?
I agree with Hingo. It should be like that. Minyaka. Yeah. I got the Minyaka.
What'd you do for New Year's, Tony? What was it? We haven't gotten to that yet.
I haven't felt good. My tooth. I've sat right here.
Oh,
I played college football DFS for the last 3 days.
Hoop? Anything fun?
No, I didn't. I've had a sick child, so I've been hunkered down for a couple days, unfortunately. So nothing exciting on this end. Honestly, it's been just
All of us didn't do shit then for New Year's. Yep. There was absolutely nothing, and I think I've made it to midnight like once in the last 12 years now.
To midnight?
Yeah, I don't even make it to usually 10:30. I'm out on New Year's. I just don't want anything to do with New Year's. It's garbage, It's amateur drinking night. It's a mess, Big deal. You went around the sun one time. Big fucking deal. There's no Minyaka in that, is there?
No
Minyaka and going around. Yeah, let's celebrate. We went around the sun. Big deal.
Yeah, I'm pretty much with you. So just another day.
I see K Fallick in the chat too. This freaking donkey yesterday. You guys got to hear what this donkey did. He's got like the best college team I've ever seen in my life. And in college, you can play 2 quarterbacks, right? So obviously you'd play 2 quarterbacks in college, right? This dude has literally the best team ever. He's got 2 receivers. He could have played the quarterback from both of those teams that they went off. And the dude plays a running back in the friggin' late game over a quarterback. He could play. Are you ever playing a damn running back over a quarterback when you got the receivers? And he still wins the 333, but he would have had like the best team ever. He would have shipped every single tournament on the site just by playing the quarterback.
When you have as much money as K Fallick, that doesn't matter.
He only wanted to win the high stakes. He didn't want to win the whole thing.
He doesn't want the little stuff.
Very disappointing. Very disappointing.
He could have had the Minyaka, though. If he would have played the quarterback, he'd have got the Minyaka.
I must say, man.
I'll tell you who's going to bring us the Minyaka today, because we just got the news. Emmanuel Sanders not expected to play. Gabe Davis, Minyaka.
Why are you taking my guy? Why are you taking my guy?
I might go mid-show. To beat you.
I'm going mid-show. Gabe Davis, play of the day. I just beat you.
Okay, you got it.
He was
That's all
my
yours.
play.
But hey, I mean,
Tony.
Hey, your mid-show play of the day does not hold as much weight as my mid-show play of the day. Okay, there's a big difference. But I hope you prove me wrong this week because Gabe Davis is going to go full Minyaka for us.
Yeah, full Minyaka. Were you getting a Minyaka there, Tony? You were gone for a second?
That's because my freaking desk, like, something fell underneath me. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, okay.
I might have been getting a Minyaka, though. Who knows?
Let me ask the chat here for a second. Can you try to use Minyaka in as many sentences as possible? And
Pretty sure it works in everything. That's why it's
I mean, that's the beauty of the word. I mean,
Yeah.
it's really like you can say because no one knows what it. I mean, it might not even be a real word, but it just it goes with everything.
Yeah.
Minyaka.
Seriously, can you guys and ladies just use it in different ways so we can figure out how many different ways we can use Minyaka? Because I feel like it could be food, it could be weather, it could be sex, it could be anything. And could be touchdowns. You know, so there's a lot of organic stuff out there. The windmill thing is always nice.
Nothing's beating Minyaka. All right, Minyaka is here to stay. 2022 Minyaka.
And
the chat needs to understand this. M-A-Y is not going to be how it's spelled. Minyaka. That's not the same pronoun. That's like, how do you say Chipotle, Hoop? That's like Chipotle or what?
Well, now you guys got me thinking. We were trying to find somewhere to go to lunch yesterday, and everything was closed, and we went past it. So I started to say it, and I like paused. I was like, okay, let me get this right. We're simple. We're simple people. To me, Minyaka is Minyaka.
Yeah. There's got to be an N in there for sure, though.
Minyaka.
Just the easy way. Yeah, I still think a J, but Hoop trumps me on this one. Big T.
I don't know. I mean, I think the Y is the.
Where's
you
the
can
J
go with the J.
Well,
he wants
J
the side.
is a Y sound in some.
Oh well, yeah. I mean, I'm not that smart, so I don't know like the.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it could be like Bruce Willis says Minyaka with like the swiggly over the end. That could be the correct one.
But we don't want people to look at that and then them start to say Minjaka. We don't want anyone.
Yeah, no, Jay. I think it might actually be Bruce Willis though in the chat. I think that looks most how I anticipated to pronounce it.
Okay. I'm fine with that. The little squiggly over the end.
Yeah. If you guys want the good Minyaka. 569 likes. We're going to need 131 more. The second thing is Big T dropped his Minyaka on the floor from Hammer 74. I like that. I look like Minyaka today. I do, Rubio. It's been a long week, buddy.
You need to get to this next game, or we're going to be on here till kickoff. Is what you need to do.
Yeah, I got this. I got to hit the slopes. I got to hit the slopes after lock. So,
are you really going skiing?
A lot of games.
You're going skiing?
Not skiing. I don't ski, but like I said, the kids want to go sledding. So
okay, that's right.
Sledding slopes.
We'll move on. There's some games we don't need to worry about, but Miami, Tennessee Hoop. Anything here? The Waddle is going bananas lately. Outside of that, I don't like anything in this game. Do you?
I'd have Waddle in my player pool and AJ Brown as well. Those two guys at wide receiver. I think wide receiver, you need to be searching for the upside today because that's going to be the difference maker. We know, who we know which guys are going to be owned at running back, wide receiver. Wide receiver is to me the most important position. I want these high upside guys. Waddle has proven it. AJ Brown has proven it. Two guys that I want in my player pool. That's it from this game.
Tony, I feel like there's not a lot of Minyaka in this game.
God, Waddle was my favorite play all week. I freaking loved him. Treated me well on the showdown. Loved him. Tennessee's the worst in football against the receiver, at least according to my flow chart. Mm-hmm. And this weather scares me, though. The weather's horrible there, and it's a 41 total. So I'm going to be off of it now, which is going to kill me when he goes off because I loved him all week. I'm just not – a 14-game slate, I'm not going to mess with this weather. Two decent defenses. I don't know. I'm just not going to mess with it.
Yep, that's what I thought too. Here's our guy that was asking for the Carson Wentz take. We just talked about dudes coming off the COVID list. What do you think of Carson Wentz today with Vegas at the Colts and what's probably going to be the last home game for the Colts this year? Tony, Wentz, yay, nay?
I mean, it is funny to me too that he, not to go down this alley like Hoop always says, but the dude was wearing his mask. He was the only one all season.
The only one in football wearing the mask.
and he gets it the last week of the year. But anyways, I'm not going down that alley. I'm obviously not playing Wentz today versus the Raiders. Only guy in this game would be JT. I mean, he's going to be popular. He is a good play, though. So I like him. And you could play the Colts D if you wanted to, but I don't want to play a D indoors when we have all these cold weather type spots out there. So I'll just play JT in this game.
Hoop.
Yeah, just Jonathan Taylor for me. It hurts because my boy is in this game, Renfro, but it just seems like a really bad spot for the Raiders here. I think the Colts roll, and most of it at the hands of Jonathan Taylor, and then Pittman too. I do like Pittman. He's pretty cheap, like 6'5" on FanDuel, 5'8" on DK. I think he is a very fine option, but not messing with any Raiders today.
Not bothered with that. Okay, very good. Let's move on. Next game. Here's another one. Shitty weather. It's going to be David Montgomery chalk hoop. And I really don't know if you want to do anything else besides for that. Like, is there anybody in this game with the upside to take down a slate besides for Montgomery?
Yeah, I mean, have to imagine it's bad weather here, or at least cold. Yeah, around 20. You know, it's going to be a cold game. The Giants are just completely dead at this point. Montgomery obviously gets all the work for the Bears. I think there is some concern, though. I mean, the Bears have nothing to play for. I mean, I still like David Montgomery, but this gets to the point in the season where, you know, are they going to give this guy, 25 touches? I don't think so, but he shouldn't need it against this Giants team. They're a touchdown favorite at home, low total. Bears defense, David Montgomery, that's it.
Okay, Tony, Chicago, the Giants.
Yeah, I'm not going here either. I don't even like Montgomery. I know he's going to be popular. He just catches a ton of balls, and if they're winning, I just don't like this game. Two bad teams, 14 game total, bad weather. I don't know. I get why he's popular for sure. I mean, he gets a ton of targets, gets all the volume. He's against a bad team like the Giants. I get it for sure. I get it completely. I'm not going to play him. There's other running backs I like that I trust more. There's no guarantee, like Hoop said too, that they're just going to keep pounding him. They're not playing for anything. I don't know. I think they win too, and I actually don't think he's near as good when they're winning, and if they're up 2 touchdowns or something. So this will be some of the chalk I am going to fade.
Like button would be nice. We're at 579 right now. So we're trying to get to 700 again. I'm sure we could do that. 1,115 watching. That's even a little bit more than we usually have. So everybody's in here for the good Minyaka. And I also want to remind you, we might still be on for the inactives, which is fine, but we're going to react to them on the Up to Lock show, the final countdown. That's a premium show. JSU, best in the biz, Up to Lock. JJ Dunkel from the bet side is going to stop by. He just won $40K in DFS, though, in NFL, so he knows what he's talking about from DFS. That, and he probably listens to us and just, cherry picks. And then I'll be hosting. So final countdown coming up, reacting to all of the late inactives, and we'll talk about the cores, and we take your questions, most importantly, right up to lock. So runpuresports.com, get in on that. Tony, Rams, Baltimore. We just talked about Jonathan Taylor. Like, if you're making a lineup and you're down to Taylor versus Cup today in a tournament, what's the decision?
I mean, if I had to choose, I don't think you have to choose. There's ways you can get both of them there with a ton of directions. But if I had to choose, I'd choose Cup probably, just because Baltimore just has no secondary, and I know he's going to be popular. People like Cup. Expensive tag, but man, Baltimore cannot stop the pass. I don't know what they're going to do to stop a guy like Cooper Kupp, who's the best route runner in football and just dominates everybody. So I don't really see what they can do. I like the Rams in this spot. The more interesting thing for me in this game is, what do we do with Baltimore? Can they keep the pace with Huntley? Can Andrews keep crushing? And I don't know, like, and just the price points, because everybody's kind of expensive. Like, say you play Huntley, Andrews, Cup, and like Sony or something, which I think all those guys are somewhat popular. You're using a lot of salary, so you're going to have to get cheap in some other spots. But I do like it. I mean, I don't see any way the Rams aren't going to pick this secondary apart, which kind of gets me off Sony. I'm not naturally a Sony person anyways. He's going to be another one of these popular type running backs. I don't know. I'm not necessarily on him as much as the field. I'm just going to play Cooper Kupp. I'm going to play Beckham or Jefferson, even Higbee a little bit, some Stafford. I'm much more on the passing game, and I got to keep riding Andrews too. I mean, he has been so freaking good the last 3 or 4 weeks, like unbelievably good. And I don't know. I like it. I don't like the price point. He just keeps going up, up, up. But he might even end up somewhat lower owned again just because of how many good plays are on the board up there, like Cup and JT and some of these other spots. So, yeah, that's where I'm at. I like this game, though.
Oop, there's a lot to like in this game, isn't there? I mean,
yeah, I mean, on the Rams side for sure. I mean, it's a little scary. I mean, you got two teams heading in like the opposite direction. The Rams are kind of peaking right now, playing the best football they've played all season. You got the Ravens that are obviously, heading in the wrong direction. They can't get their quarterback healthy. So that's the one concern here. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams just laid it on the Ravens in a big way. So that is why I do like Sony Michel a little bit more than Big T. I think we could see a game here where the Rams get out to a big lead, hand it off to Michel and finish this game off. It's on the road. I think they're more likely to do that than at home. Cooper Kupp, I mean, man, just a phenomenal season overall. The Ravens will have no answers for him. I mean, you can't – you just watch, and I'm not like a big X and O's football guy. You just watch with the eye test, and, I just don't know how you slow him down, even if you're a good cornerback in the NFL. I just don't know how it's possible. They do they do the slants in, they do the out, they do the down the field straight, they do the slants across the middle. They do everything with this guy. And he's good at it all. How do you stop that? So I do think they feed him here. He's got he needs 230 yards to break the record. I think they legitimately go for that. And that means I like him a ton here. 9-5 on DK, even 10-2 on FanDuel. Really like him. I like the entire offense. So Beckham, Van Jefferson, Higbee. I agree with Tony. All these guys are great options here today. And then Mark Andrews is going to be low on. There's no doubt about it. We have cheap tight ends, and we have Kelsey back on this slate too. So the ownership on Andrews will be in check. If running it back, he's the only option for me on the Ravens side. I mean, he's essentially broke the slate 2 times in the last 3 weeks. You needed him to win GPPs, large field GPPs. So. Love all the Rams guys. Obviously, Michel, Kupp, the favorites, but the other guys I think are strongly in play too.
So can you guys talk about Odell just for a second? Because to me, it's there's kind of something coming down where it's Stafford, it's Kupp, and I'm trying to decide if I'm doing a Stafford stack, if it's Odell versus Van. And what would that come down to? Which one do you guys like a little bit more?
I've played Beckham every week, but yeah.
Huh? Yeah. Odell?
For me, it is, but you can play both of them. I mean,
close.
What do you think?
Tough call. I mean, I guess I'd say Van Jefferson. I see more, deep balls going his way.
Mm-hmm.
That's what. Okay. So the dude in the chat, my man G Sauce, just got his 333 ticket from the other night. That's why I get so annoyed when these people act like all these messages on Twitter and why I'm fighting the battles. Oh, you guys don't give back. G Sauce comes on, said he was on some tough times on the print factory, lost his job, all this stuff. We hook him up with the 333 ticket at Runpure, and he's going to ship it today for us. This G Sauce, let us know your team today. We're going to root you in. You're going to get the Minyaka today.
Let's go
Minyaka for G Sauce. Let's get it.
Yeah, let's go G Sauce. If you have too much Minyaka, can you go to prison? Or is this a thing?
I'm sure you can. Yeah, there's a decent chance.
Wow. Some of us might be going to Leavenworth today. I'll tell you that much, people. And it's going to be because of the Minyaka. The next one would be Houston and San Francisco. I mean, guys, how do you not love Eli Mitchell? Shanahan just runs one guy out there. Mitchell's back. He's been so effective when he's played. George Kittle, nobody's talking about George Kittle. Maybe we shouldn't be. I feel like we should be. What do you think here, Hoop, about San Francisco and Houston? And I got nothing from Houston. Nothing.
Yeah, I see Cooks is kind of popping. I'm not going to play Cooks. Like
coming off of COVID, isn't he?
Yeah, I just don't have the interest really. I mean, and he's up there. He's going to be owned today. And, if he beats me against the Niners with a 15 team total, and then so be it. I mean, the Niners, it's just always risky to play guys against the Niners because you know what they want to do. They want to get out to a lead and they want to just like bury the clock, and they do a really good job of it. And now they have multiple running backs that they can do that with: Eli Mitchell, Jeff Wilson. So yeah, it's going to be Trey Lance for me. Maybe a little Debo in tournaments. Lance is going to be wildly popular today. There's no doubt about that. He's 4.8 on DK, 6.4 on FanDuel. If he finds the box on the ground once, you're free rolling the rest of the game with him. And he could find it twice in 2 games. I think it was 130 yards on the ground and a touchdown. So just a lot of free points with him this week. The Niners obviously should roll here, 2 touchdown favorites at home, which is, for me, it's always risky taking opposing players against the Texans. So, I mean, mostly it's going to be Lance, maybe a little Debo for me, but not much
That'd
else.
be it. All right. What do you got here, Tony?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Lance, his projection is kind of wild. The last time this happened, and I kind of wish I just went heavier on the guy. I think it was Huntley, or no, it might have been the dude Minshew, the Minshew week. Where
yeah,
I kind of wished at the end that I just like jammed him and just didn't overthink it because of how cheap he was and just how good of a play I thought he was. That's kind of where I'm at with Lance. I mean, I really don't see that many paths to where he doesn't get you at least 18 or something, which you're fine with. And there's also paths where he gets you like 25 and you're just going to need him because there's so many other things you can get. I don't know. It's hard because he is going to be very popular. And we talk about quarterbacks always. This is the type of thing. If you told me he was going to be 15%, I'd probably just lock him in every team I play. If you told me he was like 35%, I probably would want to be underweight. As weird as that sounds, that's just my tournament mind. And I think he might. I mean, what do we think he comes in at in a Millie Maker type tournament?
Not the big number you said. I mean, we see a quarterback all the time. I mean, they're always. I mean, always lower than you think because people are playing. They're stacking. If they're going to play a bunch of Cooper Kupp, they're going to have a lot of Stafford. If they play a lot of Diggs, they're going to have a lot of Josh Allen. To me, quarterback, it just always gets spread out. And we have a 14 game slate. We have 28 different guys to choose from.
Yeah, so I mean, you're probably right. I might just need to just jam him, and I think that even means I'll even take it a step further. And I never say this. Even if you didn't play any other Niners with him and just if he gets you in the 20s, yeah, you still got the Josh Allen 40 piece that could hurt you and different things. But if he gets you in the 20s, you're just so minted to try to get some other combinations around him with high priced guys, studs all around. It just does so much for you. And yeah, I kind of agree. In the high stakes, I think will be higher, but in the Millie Maker stuff, I'd be shocked if he wasn't. I mean, 20 in the range of 20 right in there, which is just too low at 4,800. I just don't see that many paths to failure. Yeah, in the 222 Millie, the bigger Millie, I bet he gets in the 30s. I bet in that, but that's okay. That's higher stakes. That's what that is, and I'm good with it. Yeah, I'm riding with Lance. I'll play some Debo and Kittle. I'm not going to play Mitchell as much as other people are. I just don't want to. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't want to. I would play him if I was on a non-Lance team. Put it that way. If I wasn't playing Lance just to get the ultimate leverage, maybe they run it a ton. Lance is super high owned, 20, 25%, like we said, and he somehow gets 12, doesn't get in the box, just has a mediocre game, and Mitchell somehow gets 3 or 4 touchdowns. That could be how you win a slate. So I see that. I just probably won't because I'll be more on the Lance side.
Well, that's really interesting too, with as far as the Niners go. But we were talking about Kupp and Jonathan Taylor in the same lineup. Lance is the way to build that.
What was Mitchell out with?
Concussion.
Yeah, I get just a little worried that, similar to some of these other games, that San Fran, once they get this lead, I don't think they're just going to keep pounding Mitchell. I don't know.
Love him. Love the Mitchell, but I do all the time, and you're making some good points here.
I
Lamar.
like Mitchell too, for the record. I love San Francisco's running game. I just don't know if this is the spot.
Yeah. Hoop, is this a spot for Eli Mitchell?
Man, I don't know. I mean, there's so many really good running backs without question marks in the same price range. I don't think there's a ton of question marks, but could they use Jeff Wilson more here? Yeah, sure. Lance, more likely to run obviously than Jimmy Garoppolo. I just think there's better running back plays, but he's going to be lower owned. So in tournaments, if you like him, it's easy to get over the field.
We just got a little bit of news for anybody holding out hope that Lamar Jackson was going to play. He's not even warming up. So it looks like a Huntley game once again. And we already talked about that game. So I'm just going to throw it out there. And that was it. That's a little bit of news that we got. And then Emmanuel Sanders is out, which unfortunately, Hoop, I think Gabe Davis's ownership is going to go a little bit higher than I like. I don't think you can get off.
See, I don't know though, because he has a price. I mean, he is what? I mean, he's not free.
50, was he 56?
He's 5K or 5K. Like I think the DK ownership stays in check, to be honest with you.
Yeah, 5.
He's FanDuel. Yeah, I like him a lot. Good play. Great play.
And Beasley's back, so I hope that kind of makes people say, we don't want him.
Yeah.
We don't want him as much. But
he's been their top red zone target. Even when all three of those guys are healthy, like he's in there for red zone plays.
Yeah, I feel like he might get used besides for that too before the blowout. Like use him between the 20s. His use is just going up. Wow, we're close to 1,200 live viewers. It's a good ratio to have a little bit over half for the likes. 700 for the Manaka today. So let's do it. You know what, Tim? Tim makes an interesting point. Was Gabe Davis out last week with the COVID? Or was
he was.
Well, let's talk about it then, because the COVID, man, that's
we've already talked about it. Just depends on how much you think it impacts.
Scares me a little bit, Hoop. Now I'm a little scared of Gabe Davis.
I'm not. Yes, no. Yeah.
I love the Gabe Davis too. It's tough, but yeah, chat. Thanks for bringing it up. Yeah, you know what? He's coming off the COVID, and it's something that scares me a little bit. But let's just get him a couple of end zone looks, and things will pay off. Okay, next game. Hoop, Denver and the Chargers. So much. I mean, there's 2 offensive linemen missing for Denver. They're missing key defensive pieces. Anything here from maybe the Chargers side then? Is Eckler in play with some injuries on the defensive side for Denver? And the only other guy I'll bring up, and I think he's been low owned this week, is Keenan Allen. And I feel like Keenan Allen is a guy that could go for, a nice 20 burger today.
Just seems like your prototypical bounce back spot here for the Chargers after getting embarrassed last week against the Texans. They had some guys out. Now they're back home. They need to win. They get this beat up Broncos team. It just to me seems like a spot where the Chargers just smash and put up like 40 points. So I'm going to be overweight on all Chargers guys: Herbert, Allen, Mike Williams, and then you get the full punt tight end, Steven Anderson, 2.5K, who actually seems like a pretty solid player overall and had a role prior to Jared Cook being ruled out. I mean, he had catches in 3 straight games, 2 last week for 34. Now no Parham or Cook. 2.5K. It doesn't take much to pay off that price tag. If he finds the box, you're cruising. So love the Chargers. Probably my favorite team on the slate. Herbert, Keenan Allen. I think Mike Williams is a phenomenal play today in tournaments. I just think they roll and put up a big number after just getting embarrassed last week. But I mean, they had key guys out last week. They're all back this week. Give me the Chargers in a big way.
Where were you on Eckler? You like him too, right?
Yeah, I mean, I do. It's just tough. The running back is so loaded, and if you go up top, you want Jonathan Taylor, I think, over Eckler. So I mean, I definitely prefer the passing game more for the Chargers. But if Eckler should be low owned, if there's a way to get overweight on him, I do like that move.
Okay, Tony, what do you got here? Denver and the Chargers.
Yeah, I like the Chargers. They have to win the game. I mean, what's their playoff position holding? Like what?
They're right there. Like they have to win out. They're right there.
Are they in or currently though?
I think they're on the outside just because the last week.
Barely. Okay.
So let me go look at the tiebreakers one more time.
Obviously need to win. I mean, last week was freaking embarrassing. So they need to show some heart, come back strong. I agree with Hoop. Eckler. I think Eckler could be one of the sneakiest plays of the slate just because no one's going to get to him. I mean, you got these other high-priced guys. No one's going to – I mean, Eckler's got to be 5% owned or something. He just has to be, and he could get 40 points. We've seen it. So I like Eckler a ton. Yeah, Keenan, Mike Williams. So I got the sneaky pivot in the cheap range, and no one will play him, and that's fine because that's what I like. I like it when I like a guy that no one's going to play in the entire player pool, but everyone's going to play Steven Anderson, and I get it. He's got more work, but in college DFS, I love this Trey McKitty at the same price, same position. The Chargers like to play 2 tight ends anyways. I'm not saying Steven Anderson's going to be like crazy chalk because he's not, but he's going to be, I don't know, 15% owned, and McKitty's going to be 0% owned. And I think McKitty, he's just a stud pass catcher. Yeah, he hasn't got the same workload in the past, but this is a new situation. And I really like McKitty today. And by really like, this is another example. You don't have to play 50%, play 10% Trey McKitty in your builds. I don't know. It's just a feel I have for him. I like him a lot. But yeah, I like the Chargers. I'm not going to play Herbert, but I am going to play a bunch of these pieces individually, and I wouldn't be surprised at all if 1 or 2 of these guys ends up on the winner. Broncos, not going to play any Broncos today. I don't even have any that I have interest in. The only one I guess would be Cortland Sutton now with what's his name out, my freaking dude that killed me at the live final, Judy. I hate that guy. Yeah, screw him, but yeah, that's what I mean. That's what. So Sutton, just a slight 4,500 for Sutton. He's going to be in my player pool. I'll say that 4,500 is very cheap for him in this spot. So especially if you're running some Chargers. But that's it for me here.
Okay. Chris Adams, I hit the like on my phone, the computer, and my girlfriend's phone. Love you guys. Thanks, Chris.
We like that.
It's all about the Minyaka, right? It's all about the Minyaka. Yeah, Tim Patrick's out there. That whole team, Thomas, 2 offensive linemen, just stay away from Denver. Unless you want to mess with the running game. I mean, the Chargers are so bad against the run, but again,
Sutton's projection is kind of high. The more I'm looking at Sutton. He's got
Cortland
an interesting
Sutton?
Little projection at 4,500.
Yeah. How about Noah Fant?
Yeah, he's like showing up though. I don't know.
He is showing up on Optimizer.
Yeah, he's starting to. Everyone's kind of bumping him. I don't know. Like,
I definitely don't want him if he's owned.
I don't know how owned he. I mean, you got Cup, you have Antonio Brown, who will suck up so much ownership, especially on DK. I mean, I don't think he's going to be like high owned, but I think people will play him. I don't like him all that much.
Javon,
he's like an example. If you told me he's low owned, I love him. And if you told me, even if he's like 15%, I don't like him.
True. Yep.
If I said Javonte was out, it was Judy. It was a different J. And then Melvin Gordon revenge game. Ooh.
And we're not playing Melvin.
He's had a few of those already against the Chargers, though. So
who gashed this team last week?
Who gashed
Rex Burkhead?
Yeah, freaking Burkhead. So maybe
Burkhead,
if like Melvin or somebody somehow was out, man, that would be sweet to play Javonte, but it's annoying when they split the carries.
What are you going to do? Like button, where are we at? Our goal is 700. Hoop, we got almost 1,200 watching right now. Get us, can you convince them to get us to 700?
And like I said, I mean, we're going for full Minyaka today. We're going for the top of leaderboards and straight to the bench after. Well, not for Holden. Holden's
no bench, dude.
Still on IR for another week.
My balls.
Full Minyaka. Yes, like button and subscribe. That's how you get all the winners. Make it easy. It's the good mojo, the good Minyaka, whatever you want to call it. We need subscriptions here on YouTube, and we need like button hits. Do that. Get you the winners at the end.
No, that's a great point. Subscribe too. You know, our bet side has a lot of subscriptions too. So subscribe to the bet side, subscribe to our side, go to runpuresports.com, just sign up. The NBA content is ridiculous. The NFL content, Especially the Showdown. You sign up and you get the Showdown site too. It's just every single week. I keep seeing
literally, you have like over the course of the last year, the hottest DFS player in the world, Big T, in the world. And not only does he come on the shows, not only does he do content, he gives his freaking player pool. Every player that he's playing today, he's going to put on our website. So if you want to see who the hottest player in the world is playing today, you sign up at Runpure Sports. There's a tab that says Big T's player pool. Boom. His entire player pool listed right there. I mean, imagine like not wanting that.
It's a great.
You guys
point.
are making me feel good today. You guys are boosting my spirit, giving me the Maniaca love, now talking me out. You guys are just making me feel good.
I mean, and Hoop is like the number one hater of Big T, and look at what he's giving him right now.
It pains me to have to sit and do this crap, and it's happened for a fucking year now. I mean,
he doesn't like it. He doesn't like
it. Had to do it for a year straight. Imagine.
I think it's been over a year. Like it goes back.
We're not going that far. It was like
Hoop doesn't like it.
I can tell you because it was literally 2 years ago. I had my worst day ever in the Super Bowl, and then the following year, the run started on the Super Bowl. So it was like last year's Super Bowl, whatever that date was when I started doing good.
All right, boys.
It hasn't been a year though, Holden. So we still got time.
Yeah.
All right.
We're not going that
let's
far.
just keep it going for a full year. Detroit and Seattle. Detroit and Seattle. A couple of running backs here that I think are interesting, Tony. Rashad Penny at 6'1", who's really started going off recently. I mean, they spent a first-round pick on him? Wasn't a first-round pick or maybe a second, and he started to go off. Swift is a guy that could get a ton of catches in that game script. Amon-Ra with Goff back is seeing like 7,000 targets every single game. Even last week, what has he got? He had 11, 11, 12, and 12. So he's rolling. I don't know if you want to mess with Lockett and Metcalf. I always love Gerald Everett. Give it to me. What do you got? Detroit at Seattle.
Yeah, Penny looks good to me. And I think this script that we got bad weather here again. It's supposed to be raining, I think. I'm sure the weather's pretty cold too. And I don't know, against Detroit, you got to like a guy like Penny today. There's a ton of good running backs on the slate. You're going to have to pick and choose which ones you want, but I'm definitely going to be on Penny. I wanted to be on this Detroit side more, but man, this weather has me a little bit worried, especially with Tim Boyle at quarterback. And I don't know, Swift is a guy I just don't play as much. I hate when I feel like I need him to like be losing and catch a bunch of dump offs. And I don't know. I'm just not a Swift guy all that much, especially in a spot like this where we got tons of running backs on the slate. ASB, or however you pronounce the freaking dude, ARSB.
Amon-Ra.
Yeah, Amon-Ra. That's what we're going to call him. I like it. And I love him. If this game was in Detroit in a dome,
he says, is that what we're going to call him?
Said yes.
He calls and goes, yeah, that's his name.
But I'm not playing any Detroit guys on a 14-game slate. So, yeah, I mean, the dude in the chat, they're underpriced. I get it, but the weather's bad. I'm just not playing Detroit on a 14-game slate. So if that beats me. I'm good with it.
Yes, Hoop. Your favorite team, the Lions.
Yeah. I just struggle with games like this, two dead teams, like two teams that are done, incentive to lose. The Seahawks, been a competitive team for the last decade. And now they're, this could be the last time that Russ and Pete Carroll are together. I want to be lower on this game. I mean, I'm not going to play any Lions guys. I haven't been playing Swift all season. I'm not going to play him here. Actually, I played him on Thanksgiving when he got hurt. I think that might be the only time that I clicked his name. Seahawks, just tough, man. Like, I do like Penny. I think you can play Penny, but like these pass catchers, Metcalf, Lockett, I don't know. I could just see this being just a game where both teams want to just get it over as quick as possible. Give me Penny and I'll pass on the rest. 13 to 15 mile an hour winds with gusts up to 20. Just so you know, with that, Seattle, wet, gross, everything going on there. Where are we with the likes? Oh, very close to 700. We're going to get there. Let's go 700. No Jim. I didn't get snipped this year. It was about 5 years ago. This was a different little surgery. We're all good though. Thanks for asking. Everything's fine. Let's keep going to our next game. Hoop, Carolina, New Orleans. Do we just move on to the next game after this one, or is there anything to talk about? Yeah, I'm not messing with this one. I mean, you got the Panthers are playing both quarterbacks, Sam Darnold, Newton. It's just disaster. Yeah, I mean Saints defense. Taysom's back, I believe, right? Is he?
What do you want to do with Taysom? That might be interesting.
Is he 6K? I mean, it's somewhat interesting. Trey Lance is probably like the same guy for much cheaper. That's the problem. Okay. I could see Kamara bouncing back here, but the problem is running back is a loaded position. Well, I mean, this game I'm not really playing anything here.
Tony, you want a little Taysom?
Not today. No. Yeah, wow. Maybe if it wasn't a 14-game slate and I didn't think New Orleans was the worst offense ever, I would think about him, but not today. Definitely not playing Carolina either. They pissed me off last week. I got to admit it, last week I said I liked Carolina over Tampa. I really didn't think Cam Newton would play as much as he did. When he was out there playing, I knew I was dead right away. I thought they'd go to the other freaking dude. I thought he'd play a lot more. So right away when I knew I was going to get just torched. That sucked. I completely spaced it too. In my head, he just wasn't going to play, and my head was wrong.
All right, let me just address something in the chat real quick. The guy that said DeAndre Swift murdered somebody. That was an erroneous report during a show with Mangone. We have since made a bit out of it, but DeAndre Swift did not murder anybody. He's going to play today, and hopefully he murders this slate. Okay. So it was Mangone, reading like Reddit or something.
Yeah. I mean,
listen to Mangone's picks, not his reports. And by the way, congrats, Mangone. Did he win like 25K or something?
I think he in NBA, right?
I think he crushed an NBA too. Yeah. So. But don't listen to his reports. He makes up murder stories and stuff. And
there's been tons of questions too about this Deontay Harris. I mean, he's 3K. If you want to play him, play him. I mean, he's fine. He could house one, but I just don't think it's the slate for it.
I mean, it's cash, right? You can go throw him in a cash lineup.
I mean, Hoop not playing Deontay Harris in cash.
Hoop, what's Deontay Harris today in cash? No.
No. I wouldn't do that. I mean, I don't know. I just don't think it's a great play with Taysom there. I mean, if you like him, play him. I mean, 3K. We're never going to shit on a 3K play. I mean, we always say that.
It's Taysom's favorite receiver for sure, but still, they're not going to throw that much. I don't. Yeah.
Yeah. And Taysom's coming off COVID too. That's right, guys. And then there was another. Antonio Brown, for anybody that didn't think he was going to play, he's playing today. He's out there high-fiving dude. So everything's totally fine. Yeah, everything's setting up there. Last game, did we get to 700? Yeah, 705. I mean, let's see if we can get to 750, ladies and gentlemen. How about we do that? Big Tony. Is there any Minyaka in the Arizona-Dallas game today? I feel like there is somewhere.
I mean, Arizona has completely fallen off the rails, and Dallas looks to be peaking to me. So this, on the surface, looks like a blowout spot, even though the spread doesn't show it. I think Dallas could really lay a whooping on Arizona. Just looking at Arizona's roster, I just don't like it. I don't think they're good. I haven't thought they're good. Even when they were 10-2 and in first place, I didn't think they were good.
That's why we bet the Rams. That's why we bet the Rams to win the division.
And everyone was victory lapping on us. It was JQ. I'm looking at you. You were victory lapping on us. It's time to run that back a little bit, because this team, I don't know. I mean, I don't like a single guy on their team. Kyler's fine, but I'm not in love with this game. They blitz him up the middle now, and he just runs straight backwards and just throws off his back foot. Yeah. I just don't see it. So on a 14-game slate, you can definitely play Zach Ertz. I take that back, as he sticks off the – he's getting a ton of workload. Great plays, Zach Ertz, but I don't like any of these other guys. And then the Dallas side, same story I always have with Dallas. I love Dallas's offense. Where do you go, though? You got legitimately 6 weapons that could do something, which makes them very hard to pinpoint DFS-wise. I like situations where you know where the ball's going to. Yeah, Dallas could score 40 today, but where's it coming from is my question. Zeke, the chat's asking about Zeke. Zeke is definitely not going to be on my teams today. Not with all these good running backs. I'm not playing Zeke. But all these other guys are in play. CD, Coop. I mean, even I won't play Pollard today either, but Schultz, Gallup, Cowboys defense, I think, is one of the sneakier ones of the day. They keep getting turnovers. They keep getting pressure. They always give you a chance, which is all you can ask for on D. Actually, I love the Cowboys D the more I'm thinking about it. People are going to like this game for offense. I like Dallas's D here. That's a nice little play in the afternoon. So that's where I'm at. I'm not going to have some crazy amount of this game, though, but I will have pieces.
Oop. Want to go crazy here or just get rid of it?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's ever been a game in the history of the Morning Wood that I agree more with Big T on. Like, it's like everything he just said, I fully agree with. Like, you look at the Cowboys that are projected to score 30 points. They have legitimately like 7, not just like fringe guys, 7 front and center offensive guys that could get the job done. They have 2 running backs, Zeke, Pollard, CD, Cooper, Gallup, Schultz, Dak on the ground. Like, they could score 40, like you said, and no one have like a GPP winning performance. So that's always risky for DFS purposes. I like some individually. I'm not going overboard. Like CD Lamb, I think you can play. All the wide receivers you can play. Schultz, okay at play. I love Zach Ertz on the other side. I mean, Kyler Murray has been a disaster. This team has been a disaster, completely overrated. We were on it long ago when they're 10-2, like Big T said. We were on here saying, they're not that good of a football team. They've looked like one of the worst over the course of the last few weeks, but I do like Ertz. And then Christian Kirk, I think, is a fine play too. They're probably playing from behind. You get a dome game here. That's pretty underrated at this point in the season. You don't have to worry about any of this weather. I mean, this is the first week where basically all the outdoor games have some pretty bad weather. So the dome aspect here is underrated. Kirk, Ertz, but I do think the Cowboys roll. And I do think Kirk and Ertz can have good games, and Cowboys defense also succeed here. They're getting a ton of turnovers. Kyler Murray's looked really, really bad. So yeah, that's where I'm at here on this one.
Lamar's inactive. Emmanuel Sanders is inactive. The inactives are just starting to come out. And again, guys, if you're listening, the Up to Lock show, JSU, JJ from the bet side is going to come over. He's going to give us his pick. He also won 40K in DFS. I'll be on there hanging out with the guys. So there you go. I mean, that's pretty big news.
Breida inactive too, again, which is a nice subtle boost to Singletary.
Miles Sanders is out. Jordan Howard and Boston Scott are going to have the backfield in Philly. Any thoughts on that? I know you were talking about that, Hoop. It's a complete avoid, right?
Just too many good running back plays today to mess with that.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. What do we got as far as the likes? Wow, you guys got to 716. Thank you very much. That's great. And let me tell you one more reason why to hang out at runpuresports.com. Our boy K. Philippe Burner. I'm going to continue with this amazing Munyaka and stake B square and the answer to the $20 milli. DM me your PayPal address. This happens all the time. Dudes are just constantly staking other people in our chat or in the Discord in the community. So it happened again. Let's get to the plays of the day. Simon, I cannot see if you came up with a Munyaka graphic or anything like that, but it's the workbench play, maybe the Munyaka play. Tony, let's hear it.
Yeah, like always, trying to find something that is a little lower owned. So I was looking through these running backs, and let me see what his ownership's going to be here real quick. Yeah, I got to go with my boy Penny. He's got crazy workload the last few weeks. He just can't be owned. I'm looking at. He's got to be under 10% owned against Detroit in this weather. He's got monster workload the last 2 weeks. I think he breaks the slate. Seattle loves to run the ball. I just love the ownership on him. Tons of chalky running backs. This is a pivot off of it. Ronald Jones is the same price. Other guys in that same price range. Give me Rashad Penny to break this slate at 6,100.
Rashad Penny's he's breaking the slate, Hoop. He's breaking the slate.
I got a winner too for the people too. I've given a few. I'm going to a teaser this week though, like always. The Colts and the Seahawks, both -2.5 with the teaser. Go collect your money.
I like the Colts with the Chargers. Same thing. And I bet that on Monday morning.
And then an hour after I placed that bet, the Wentz news broke, and then Colts went from -7 to -2. I'm like, son of a bitch! Like I'm not betting NFL early in the week ever again. And then it comes full circle, and now it's
that would have been brutal.
Because they would have lost. Bet NFL. Seriously, like that's the last couple of weeks. You just can't bet NFL till Saturday night, Sunday. Just don't do it unless it's an under. If you got an under, bet it early in the week. But overs, no. Did you give your play, or was that just?
That was just me piggybacking off of what Big T said. Yeah. So the rich parents play the day. I got to go to my Chargers team. I said I really like them today to roll and put up a bunch of points. I'm going to go Mike Williams. I think Mike Williams has a big game here. Should be pretty low owned coming on. I think he was injured and COVID, so the double X. But give me Mike Williams. Tournament play should be super low owned today. Rich parents play the day.
All right, real quick. Antonio Brown active. Damian Harris active. Jordan Howard, Hollywood Brown. They're active. Snoop Huntley is going to start for the Ravens. Emmanuel Sanders is out. Cam Akers is out.
Is that his name? Snoop Huntley?
That's his nickname.
Snoop, I like that. Snoop, I like that.
Yeah. Is Antonio Brown too big of a name to be the play of the day?
You already named your play of the day.
No, I didn't. I wasn't going mid show.
Can't be given AB anyways. That's
way
veto. Too chalky.
Can't do it. Veto. I mean, he needs 281 yards for $333,000 bonus and 3 TDs for 100.
You can give it if you're calling a 281-yard game.
He's not going to do 281. He'll probably get 181.
What happened to Big Gabe?
No, we're going Gabe. Going. I just love Antonio Brown more than anybody else. The guy's just going to go.
So does everyone that's playing DFS today on DraftKings.
Yeah, give me some Gabe Davis. Let's not go 0-2 with the
only way you're allowed to ever call a guy that chalky is if you call the 40-piece.
The 40-piece.
And then if he gets like 20, you don't get the victory on your play.
Yeah,
that's how that chalky of a play was.
All right. Yeah, let's just go Gabe Davis then. I am a little concerned coming off the COVID list, but Hoop was like, I'm not concerned. If Hoop already has the same thoughts as me, then how do I not go Gabe Davis?
Yeah, it's Gabe. Gabe's treating us well today.
Anytime touchdown, Gabe Davis, just Gabe Davis the shit out of it. And that's what I got for you. All right, boys. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for getting us to where it is. Yeah, I think Kendrick Bourne, I will have a Kendrick Bourne. I will have Kendrick Bourne in the line.
You know he's going to crush today after last week.
I'm going to have him in there.
He's definitely going to crush.
I'll have him in there. Hopefully, listen, and I'm going to tell you what, I got one more core to put out there, and it's going to be Tony's, and just leave me enough salary to put my boy Kendrick Bourne in there, okay?
You should have enough for that.
Okay.
Tony's going to build his core for you, so all you have to do is plug in Kendrick Bourne and Gabe Davis.
Just wonderful to see you boys once again. We only got one more of these, so a little bit bummed out, but
who said we're not doing any for the playoffs?
We're doing playoffs.
Yes, yes, I didn't know that.
Okay, the regular season at Runpure.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, listen, are we still going to do it on Sunday since there's Saturday games?
Maybe
it'll be probably Saturday. Yeah, definitely Saturday, and probably we're going Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
I'm down with that. This is good news.
I like that facial hair too. You look good.
Yeah, I was going to say that too. Yeah, it's a good look. And I mean, I
got nothing down below on the right side. I leave some up here.
That's when Simon's got to get us out. Oh, you're talking about your face.